All right, all right. Yo, what is good, folks? Welcome to another episode of the Sports PSP podcast. Hope everyone's enjoying a fantastic Friday evening. Hope everyone's going to enjoy a wonderful weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I know I will because I'm going to watch who's going to win the Heisman tomorrow. And then on top of that, NFL weekend, a lot of stuff. But I got my crew with me. I got Harrison in the building. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, bro. Can't complain. Been a little rough. Been a little rough recently, here and up and down. But listen, God's been treating me, trying to put me in the right direction, so I can't complain. So, and shout out to the Panthers, bro. I mean, they've been playing really. It's been tough, but at the same time, it's been really competitive. It's been watchable. So can't complain. God is good. And also, it's 43 degrees here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hmm. Interesting to hear. And of course, we can't do the show without my main guy, undisputed world champ. Brother, how you doing?
It's good to be here, man. Always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be here, man. Just got through watching the Jets documentary, The New York Sack Exchange. That was a great documentary. It was only an hour long, man, but it told you a lot in that 1 hour. But always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be here on the Highlight of Friday Night Sports PSP podcast, along with Harrison, man. This is a good time, man. Finals is almost over. Christmas is right around the corner. So be safe, guys. And, like I always say, be careful with what you do and how you do it.
Yes. Also, make sure you spend enough time with your friends and your family around the holiday season, because as your point, as you mentioned, Champ, and also great news, Champ. You sent it to me earlier. Randy Moss just got back from the hospital, cancer free. God
Mm-hmm.
bless, man. So really happy, really great news to hear. We praying for Randy. Wish you well, man. Wish you and your family nothing but the best. Great news, man. Fellas, let's talk about college football. I know we haven't paid that much attention to college football on the Sports PSP pod, but the college football playoffs, they finally named their list right here. As you can see, the college football schedule. I mean, you got number 9 Tennessee going up against number 8 Ohio State. The winner will face number 1 Oregon. You got 12th ranked Clemson going up against 5th ranked Texas. The winner of that will face 4th ranked Arizona State. You got 10th ranked Indiana going up against Notre Dame, 7th ranked. The winner will face your Georgia Bulldogs champ. And SMU, 11th ranked, going up against the 6th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. The winner will face Boise State Broncos. But fellas, what were your thoughts about the list? And particularly, how did y'all feel that Alabama was out of the college football playoff system? Because I'm not mad at it, because you lose to Vanderbilt. Um, who was the you recently lost to my Oklahoma Sooners.
The
Yeah, man.
WPSP,
Boy,
WWW.
Harrison, I'm gonna let you go first. What were your thoughts about the college football playoff system?
Can I just say one thing, PSP?
Sure.
Rest in peace to my grandpa who I lost when I was 14 years old. My grandma and grandpa went to the University of Indiana. My grandpa, when I was a kid, he keeps on telling me about this. He told my pops too. He told me every single time Indiana is a football school, every single year, and he and me and my dad were shaking their heads like, no, they're not. They would never be a football school. They had some good seasons here and there, with Lee Corso as the head coach. But seeing Indiana making the playoffs, I wish my grandma and grandpa were like still like, well, my grandma's still alive right now, but my grandpa's is probably up there, cloud nine right now, seeing Indiana in the college football playoffs against Penn State. Actually, no, not Penn State. I forgot who they played. No,
Notre
Notre Dame.
Dame.
Sorry, Notre Dame. But listen, I want to be so biased as I can to go with Indiana to win the whole entire thing. But I want to be realistic. I don't want to pick Oregon to win the whole entire thing because that's really like basic. No offense, champ, but I love Georgia. We don't know about Carson Beck because he's doubtful right now with an injury, but seeing Indiana on that in the college football playoffs, it's just all awesome right now because because they're my second favorite team, and I always have, so deep down in my heart, I will always will love Indiana. So rest in peace to my grandpa. But SMU, I made a video on this about we had to play against SMU. 6 turnovers, still lost that game, and I was fuming with. I was like turning it to the devil. I was like, ears were like freaking gas was coming out of my ears, and I was just frustrated. Yeah, they were undefeated. Yeah, well, almost undefeated until the ACC. I knew that Clemson was going to beat SMU. Were they a good team? 100%. But I just feel like I'd rather see Miami over SMU, but at the same time, it's just like it was like apples and oranges, pancakes or waffles. Who do you want to pick? Because the Miami and SMU were really good teams in the ACC. But shout out to that quarterback from SMU. I think that SMU quarter forgot his name. I think his name's like Jennings or something like that. Or I'm talking about the running back. I don't remember. But seeing SMU is kind of like a little bit of a question mark for me personally. But everything else, I think everything is perfect. I think Clemson deserved it. I'm excited to see what Boise State can do to be in the college football playoffs with Ashton Jennings, because that dude is going to be something special. He might be going to. Shout out to Mama Champ, by the way, but he might be going to the Dallas Cowboys, that will be. I don't know.
Oh, they need the running game.
They need the running game. They need the running game, but at the same time, it's just like, I'm too scared. It's just, but everything else, I think it's fine. But I'm just happy to see my grandpa's team go from the University of Indiana in the college football playoffs.
Before I give it to Champ, Harrison, were you shocked at all that Alabama was out of the college football playoffs?
No, not at all. They made the right decision. I mean, you lost to your OU, lost to Vanderbilt. Forgot what was the other team again?
Tennessee beat them.
Oh yeah, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. They did lose to Tennessee. I forgot about that.
Yeah, shout out to one of my guys out there. He's a huge Tennessee Volunteers fan, by the way.
And they almost lost to South Carolina at home.
Oh yeah, that I was actually really shocked about that. So, okay, PSP, can I ask you a question? So, like,
sure.
let's just say if you want to remove one college football team, and let's just say, okay, hold on, let me rephrase this. If you can erase one college football team and replace it with someone else, who would it be?
That's tough for me to say. I mean, I'm keeping SMU because of the season that they've had, plus that ACC championship, even though it looked like they almost got blown out, but for them to almost come back in that game, that definitely shows me something. Indiana did the best thing they could with Ohio State. Ohio State, okay, you're going to keep them there because they've only had 2 games, although I don't expect them to do much in the college football playoffs. I still don't get Ryan Day losing. 4 straight now, he has lost to Michigan. So, I mean, I am kind of happy about that because I'm also a Michigan OU fan. I don't have a problem with where it is right now, but as long as Alabama is not in that college football playoffs, I'm good. Because it's about what have you done for me lately. It ain't about nepotism, it ain't about bias, it ain't about favoritism. It's about the games. And they've lost 3 to the unranked teams. What was it that when was the last time Vanderbilt beat Alabama?
1965.
Right. Oh, and that goodness gracious.
1965. And that loss against Oklahoma, mind you, this is their first time Oklahoma is in the SEC. You didn't lose. You got whooped on national TV. And the fact that, again, you brought it up, Champ, Oklahoma is not known for defense.
No.
And how many points did Bama score?
3 points.
And you expect me to make an argument for Bama after what I saw against my Sooners, who didn't have much expectations coming into the season?
I think y'all second string quarterback played too. I don't think Arnold played.
He did, but you didn't ask him to throw the football as much.
No, okay.
And remember, he was struggling in that other game against Tennessee. But I can't make a case for Bama after what I saw. And I mentioned they almost lost to South Carolina. You got 3 losses to the unranked team. So, Champ, I'm going to ask you, what do you think?
Number one, I didn't want to have to play him. I'm just being honest with you. So I'm glad. Bama, look, we're all in this together. We're all from the South. We're all in the SEC. But I sure as HE double hockey sticks did not want to play you again because, hey, when you talk about a team having somebody's number, they talk about Ohio, Michigan having Ohio State numbers. I don't know what is wrong with my Bulldogs when we played Alabama, except for that one time in the national championship. It's just like the Little Giant story. It's still just that one time, but we got them when it counted the most. So we still got that one over you, Bama. We beat you in the Natty, so we got you. There's 1-for-1 in the Natty, so we beat y'all recently. But to be honest with you, man, all jokes aside, look, at the end of the day, only thing you had to do was win one game. And if you would have won and beat Oklahoma, we could be talking about my Georgia Bulldogs being left out of the playoffs. If you win that game, because we wouldn't have been in the SEC championship. It would have been y'all in Texas. And who knows what would have became of that. So it could have been very well Georgia being on the outside looking in had Bama won that game. You only had to win one. And to lose against Oklahoma, which really had no expectations. Arnold had been struggling throughout the year. He had been benched twice. So it was just like, wow, you're struggling against this team. I mean, it didn't score a touchdown. I mean, and Jalen Milroe looked as bad as you probably ever want to see him. So, look, I'm just going to be real. Bama, look, y'all are my SEC, regardless of how many times you guys have beaten my Georgia Bulldogs, look, we're all in the SEC, but stop whining. Do you know how many times teams have been left out because the College Football Playoff Committee, even when you didn't win your conference, decided to put you in? We got left out last year and we went undefeated the entire year. People don't want to talk about that last year. People always want to bring up Florida State. We were defending national champions, lost by less than a touchdown, and got left out of the college football playoffs last year. And so did Florida State. So there's a lot of more deserving teams. Every year you get the favoritism because you're Alabama. This year you just didn't get it. Stop whining about it. People get left out every single. It's not like you went undefeated like Florida State and got left out. It's not like you only lost one game and got left out. You lost 3 games on 2 very, very bad losses. One against Vanderbilt and the other against the Oklahoma Sooners, which, like I said, their quarterback had been struggling all year long. So for you to go there and get blown out in Oklahoma is inexcusable. And people want to talk about, and the thing is, what they was banking on is the fact that they beat us earlier in the season, and we was in the SEC championship, and we were essentially going to get one of the higher seeds. They was banking on that win in order to put them over. But unfortunately for them, it didn't. But Bama, there's been years, many, many years, that you've gotten favorable calls by the College Football Playoff Committee simply because you were Bama. And even when you didn't win your conference, even when you lost games that you wasn't supposed to lose, you got the nod because you were Alabama. You were the talk of the town in the SEC. Let's just keep it real. You, outside of Georgia, you were the dominant force in the SEC. Even with us in that division, even with us in that conference, as good as we had gotten when Kirby Smart got there, you guys were the talk of the SEC. But there was many years where Bama, you got the nod. You just didn't get it this year. I mean, and like I said, it's not like it was a situation where you won your conference, you took care of business, and you did what you were supposed to do, and you just didn't get the nod. There was some teams that I felt that. Now, do I feel like that you would have gave Penn State a better fight than SMU would have given based on ratings and quality of football? Yes, I do feel like that you would have given Penn State a run for their money. But the thing is, look, College football playoff committee, fact of the matter is, they were losing their credibility and losing it fast. They've let teams in the playoff that haven't won their conference, including my Georgia Bulldogs that 1 year. And, it last year was a fiasco. Last year was a huge fiasco, and they was trying to avoid it again, and they was trying to avoid being considered SEC biased again. They was trying to avoid that, in which, hell, who could blame them? Like I said, every year Bama has gotten a nod. But guess what? You just didn't get it this year. You didn't take, at the end of the day, when we didn't make it last year, when we lost in the SEC championship, I understood because we didn't take care of business. We got to the SEC championship last year. We laid an egg against Alabama. So be it. You didn't take care of business this year. Had you taken care of business, we could be telling another story about how 5 to 6 SEC teams are in the college football playoff this year. Unfortunately, you didn't take care of business. So when you don't take care of business, you don't get to complain. Hey, if I go to work earlier in the day and don't stay for my entire shift, I can't get mad that my check comes up $5 short. I didn't stay my whole shift. Bama, you didn't take care of business. So, hey, there's, in the great words of Seth Rollins, actions have consequences. You didn't take care of business against the Sooners. Your consequences was being left out of the SEC championship, which you had. Granted, you had beat us within an inch of our lives earlier in the year. We was looking horrible in that game against you guys. Up until the fourth quarter, we tried to mount a comeback, and y'all had the biggest victory over us. And it was a heartbreaking victory. And guess what? Y'all had that over every team. And that victory was going to get you guys to the college football playoff had you taken care of business. But you didn't take care of business. And like I said, had the shoe been on the other, like I said, I was on the other end of that spectrum last year when we didn't beat y'all in the SEC championship. So when you don't take care of business and you don't win the game you're supposed to win, then guess what? You can't be mad that you got left out of the playoff. Hey, nobody's going to feel sorry for you just because you're Bama. Just being honest with you.
And plus, champ, you would know because last year, Georgia, back-to-back national championships, in the SEC championship game against Bama, they lost and they were out of the college football playoffs, and you weren't mad at that. You understood it from that standpoint. So I get where you're coming from. I'm not mad at it at all because now what I love about it is it's no longer the SEC. Because it used to be the SEC coming out. Now you got teams in the Big Ten, like Oregon now, and it's going to make it more competitive. So I kind of like it with the college football playoff system. But to me, Harrison, you asked me earlier, I wouldn't take anybody off that team on the college football playoffs. I would just keep it where it is. I actually like it. I think it's good. And hopefully we're going to watch some hell of a football games and see how this playoff system goes. So it's going to be interesting to see. But let's move on.
Let the fireworks begin.
But fellas, let's move on and let's talk about the Heisman. As you can see right here, he got the 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy. You've got Colorado's Travis Hunter. You got Miami's Cam Ward. You got Boise State, Ashton Genty. And you got Oregon's Dylan Gabriel. Obviously, we know that the 2 top candidates are going to be Travis Hunter and Genty. So, Champ, I'm going to let you go first. Who's your Heisman vote?
First of all, I would be remiss if I didn't say this. You guys snubbed Shedeur Sanders, by the way. You snubbed Shedeur Sanders. Let's just keep it real.
Tell us why, Champ. Tell us why.
You snubbed because he has more passing yards than Dylan Gabriel, and he has more passing touchdowns. And he did that without the same amount of talent and the offensive line that Dylan Gabriel has. I mean, he's second behind Cam Ward in passing touchdowns right now. So they snubbed Shedeur Sanders. So that's number one. Number two, I think it's Travis Hunter. I think, man, look, only 2 times have I been able to see a guy that was both good on offense and good on defense in my lifetime that I can remember, I would say. Because, Deion Sanders, he played offensive defense at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
But only 2 times I can remember someone being as spectacular as Travis Hunter. And that was Champ Bailey with my Georgia Bulldogs. He played both ways. Maybe not as many snaps, but he played both ways. And Charles Woodson.
From
And if you
Michigan.
look, yes. And if you look at their stats, with both of them playing both ways, stat-wise, Travis Hunter, stat-wise, I'm gonna preface that. Stat-wise, Travis Hunter pretty much outside of interceptions, he blows Charles Woodson out of the water. So, especially with him winning, and
He'd be the first one since Woodson, first defensive player since Woodson to win the Heisman. Woodson won it back in '97.
Yes. And the thing is, look, I understand. Here's what I do understand. I understand that that team is very, very brash. Maybe not so much as Travis Hunter, because I don't see his face in the press as much as Sador and Deion.
He does
But
podcasts though.
he does podcasts. He does podcasts, which I don't blame him. Got to work on that brand. Keep doing it. So I mean, hey, everybody has a podcast now. It's kind of like podcasts are the new radio shows. If you are a star athlete, you might 9 times out of 10 these days you either got a podcast or a radio show. So not mad at it. But the thing is, he's not as vocal as people make him out to be. But the thing is this. He should win that Heisman, especially after taking home 6 awards last night. Took home the Biletnikoff Award for Best Receiver.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. And for those who are talking about, the Nash kid from San Jose State, since when have we started talking about guys from San Jose State? Tank Dell, 2 years ago, led the league in almost every statistical category in receiving, and he didn't win the Biletnikoff Award. So it's not just necessarily the guy with the best stats. I understand that Nash was the Triple Crown winner. I think it's Jeff Nash. I understand he was the Triple Crown winner for the Biletnikoff Award. But the thing is, guess what? Since when did we start putting San Jose State in these discussions? I really feel like this. If Sador Sanders was playing for Georgia, he'll be a runaway Heisman candidate. If he was playing for Michigan, Ohio State, one of these big powerhouse schools, and his coach was not Deion Sanders,
he would have won the Heisman.
He would be wouldn't be no question in anybody's mind. People will be talking about how great he is, but because he plays for Deion Sanders and that team is very, very brash and very, very confident in their abilities, and they darn well have the right to because they've earned it. They went from being in the trenches at 4-8, and they turned it right around in 1 year, 9-3, going to a bowl game. And so, guess what? If Travis Hunter was playing for any other school, we will be talking about him as the runaway Heisman. I still think he's going to win, but the discussions if he was playing for Alabama under Coach DeVore and doing what he's doing now, people wouldn't even question it because they would say, okay, look at what he's doing. But it seems like because he plays for Coach Sanders, it seems like they're trying to find every reason that they can in order to snub it.
And when you mean people trying to keep him off, you mean the media particularly. Because
Yes,
we've heard Paul Feinbaum with his criticism on Deion Sanders. But my thing is, look, I have Travis Hunter winning the Heisman because of what he means on both sides of the football field. Shout out to our guy, Trent. We love his podcast. I know Champ was on his recent podcast. Shout out to our good guy, Trent. Hope he comes back on the Sports PSP pod. Love to have his insight and knowledge. If you listen to Trent and everything that he said about Travis Hunter, spot on. I mean, the receiving game, if you look at Travis Hunter, you look at it, 92 receptions, a little over 1,100 yards, 1,152 to be exact, 14 TDs, and on top of that, being their best defensive player.
Yes.
Early on, I would have loved to see Cam Ward win it, but I can't make the case after the 2 losses against Syracuse and to Georgia Tech. So that's out of the picture with Cam Ward. Dylan Gabriel, yeah, he's putting up these types of numbers, but do you think, Champ, it has to do with the fact that he's played on so many different teams? He played with Oklahoma. I don't know who he played before Oklahoma, before Oregon. So I think that was going to be held against him. But when you look at Travis Hunter, the numbers that he's putting up, how he impacts on both sides of the football field. If they're going to give it to Gene, I got no problem with it. But, Champ, let's not act or pretend as if we've never seen 2,000 yards. Have we ever seen a 2,000-yard college rusher before?
Yes, we have. We saw it with Melvin Gordon. We saw it with a lot of. I mean, recently we saw it. Melvin
Didn't we see that with Derrick Henry at one point?
No, I don't think we saw it with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But his Heisman season was around almost 1,600 yards.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, mistakes happen.
PSP. By the way, he went to UCF, the University of Central Florida. I think that was the
Dylan
year
Gabriel.
with Scott. Yeah.
You mean Dylan Gabriel? Yeah, he's been on so many other teams. Okay, fine. He does have the argument Oregon is undefeated, but is he really the reason why Oregon is winning all these games?
No, to me, it's equivalent to what they did last year with Stetson Bennett. I think it was year before last. It was equivalent to what they did with Stetson Bennett. And because my Georgia Bulldogs was the talk of the town, and they were on their way to try to win back-to-back championship, and he was the quarterback of that, I think he is the Stetson Bennett of this year's Heisman ceremony. Because in reality, it should have been Sador Sanders. It should have been Sador. Because, like I said, his stats far exceeds Dylan Gabriel's at this point, and he's the better prospect. Not to mention, like I said, in Oklahoma, we saw him lose a lot. Not to mention in Oklahoma, we saw him lose some big games. And if you really want me to be honest, outside of Ohio State and Boise State this year, who's Oregon played?
So really not that much competition. But I do think if you had to give it to, I would give it to Travis Hunter. Because I think in Colorado, they've gotten better. Because again, Champ, speaking of Prime, he received a lot of criticism prior to the season. What Colorado was going to do? How are they going to get better? How are they going to actually make a bowl appearance? Well, now they are. So, and hopefully with Colorado, they get nowhere but better. Harrison, if you had to vote, who's your Heisman?
I mean, you guys knocked the head on this one. I mean, Travis Hunter. I mean, we haven't seen a wide receiver and a corner probably since Dion, right? Was it probably since Dion?
I don't think Dion played wide receiver. He was on special teams.
Yeah, he was on special. He played a little bit, but as far as playing that many snaps, like I said earlier, Champ Bailey, Charles Woodson from Michigan. Those are the only two in recent memory that I could think of was playing both ways and just exceeding both of them. I mean, if you really look at it, if you literally look at the Biletnikoff Award, he was top 10 in almost every statistical category while still playing defense. So one of the most versatile players in the league. So
who played? Jabril Peppers. Did he played like offensive, defense, and special teams? If I'm not mistaken.
Michigan. Yeah, for Michigan. Yeah.
That was since 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
I think it's been a while.
But what's so unique about Travis Hunter, I'm reading the stat right here, guys. This is from sportingnews.com. His snap count. I'm reading it here from an article on Sporting News. I want to make sure, give credit to Morgan Moriarty. I apologize if I mispronounced the name. But it says it right here. If I could find, the snap count. What makes Hunter unique is how many snaps he is on the field for since he plays both ways. During the 2024 regular season, Hunter was on the Buffs for a whopping 688 snaps on defense. That's an average about 57 snaps per game on defense. Most teams run anywhere between 80 to 54 snaps per game. So Hunter is playing on defense just about every down. So you take into consideration how many plays he plays. I mean, the guy, it doesn't seem like he takes a break. So the fact that he's there for like every or almost every play, that tells you something. Plus, with the numbers that he's been putting up.
And that tells you a lot of things because the thing is, like I said, if he was at Alabama or Georgia or any of these powerhouse schools playing both ways and playing on a high level both ways, it wouldn't even be a discussion. We'd be talking about him as, hey, one of the greatest players, arguably of all time. If
You
he
think
ever,
it's because of Prime, because of Deion Sanders, the aura, and because of the backlash that he's gotten from the press? That's why, you know.
absolutely.
Okay,
And the thing is, I'm not going to play any other cards. Read between the lines, if you will.
I know
But the
exactly
thing
what you
is
mean. Yeah.
that because that's not what it's about. But I think it's a lot of Prime bias. Like I said, if Coach Prime had not been his coach, and his coach was Kirby Smart, or even Ryan Day, or any of these other big time college football coaches, and they saw and they put him in position in order to bring the best not only out of himself but his team as well. If he was playing on either one of these teams, let's say in the college football playoff where you have kind of silent coaches, or even with Coach Signetti, who people don't want to acknowledge it, he has a lot of bravado as well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he came in on the black horse and said, "Hey, I win," and he said it at the press conference. So even if he was playing with Coach Signetti, I think that he would be given the credit that he deserved. But because he plays for Coach Prime, I don't think the media wants to give it to him because of how brash, and like I said, how brash the team is. The
Mm-hmm.
team. It's not necessarily him because he's been to show how humble that he is. Remember last year when the guy, I think it was Blackburn, hit him. He hit him late when he was going
Oh
walking the
yeah, I
sideline
remember that
and
game.
lacerated his kidney. And in order to get the guy, in order to kind of like say, "Hey, guys, get off of it," he invited him on his podcast and said, "Hey, even if it was a late hit, this is football. This is one of my brothers." So that's how humble that young man is. He makes straight A's. If this was any other, if he, like I said, if he was on any other team outside of Coach Prime's team, he would be revered. But because it's Coach Prime, it's like, well, snaps. Since when the snaps is,
Can I ask you something, champ?
yeah,
Do you think Travis Hunter is getting the same type of criticism that a few years ago Caleb Williams got? Because remember, Caleb Williams before he won the Heisman, I don't know who mentioned
Hmm.
it. He was like on a show, Brady Quinn, I think he was on the Charles Barkley, Ernie Johnson, and he talked about how Caleb Williams with the fingernails, the ones that said F Notre Dame, F Utah, and how that might rub some people the wrong way, the people voting. Could that be a reason?
yeah. But the thing is, like I said, Travis Hunter is not talking.
Right.
He has. That's what I'm saying. Travis Hunter is not. It's the same
No,
criticism to your point, but he's not talking in the media. That's the thing, and that's how come I don't get it. That's how come I keep. I know I'm being repetitive and regurgitating the same information, but the thing is, if he was playing for Kirby Smart right now, and he was on the Georgia Bulldogs right now, we'd be talking about him as the reason that the reason that they're in contention, the reason that they're going to a national championship, the reason that if Gunner Stock, even
or
if
Dabo. Or
yes,
Dabo.
even with Dabo. Well, I don't know so much because even with him right now, they
Well,
have a
because
love-hate relationship with Dabo right now.
But
But
but to your point, if he were on any the reason why I bring up Dabo because of Clemson the program, but if he were on a big program, his Heisman case would be intensified.
it will be super intensified. And like
Mm-hmm.
I said, if he was, especially if he was playing under especially if somebody like Nick Saban was coaching still, and he was on that Alabama team and they were in the running for a natty, they would be talking about him as one of the greatest of all time. But like I said, it's the prime effect. And I don't think that's fair to Travis Hunter. Like I said, it's been documented that this young man makes straight A's. It's been documented that he does charity work. It's been documented that he's not the most vocal guy in the world. The most vocal guy on that team is, in fact, the quarterback. So guess what? Don't hold what my coach does against me. Because if it wasn't Coach Prime, you wouldn't hold it against them.
That's a great point. But speaking of Coach Prime, there's another coach that is now taking the approach to college football. That's one Bill Belichick. He's agreed to oh, wait a minute. We got BRF in the building. We were wondering if BRF. Yo, BRF, man, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Oh man, nothing much. Just
All right.
chilling right now. Had to run a couple of errands, but I'm back chilling at the house. So yeah.
All right. We just we gotta make it real quick because we're gonna move on to the Belichick topic. If you had to vote for the Heisman, who is it?
I got Ashton Genty.
Okay.
Ashton Genty. Just, I mean, I get Travis Hunter, the play snaps and all that, but I'm still looking at Ashton Genty, what he meant to that Boise State offense. The fact that they went through the record they did, and they're in the college football playoff. So if I'm voting, I'm voting for Ashton Genty. I think Ashton Genty is the only one that I don't know. I've heard of some talking and people talking about, like, if Travis Hunter doesn't win the Heisman, they cheating him out of it. Ashton Genty winning the Heisman would not be Travis Hunter being cheated out of the Heisman.
All right. I appreciate that. But fellas, we were talking about Prime earlier. We're gonna talk about another head coach who's now in college football. That is one Bill Belichick. He's agreed to a 5-year deal to become the new head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm going to let Harrison go first because we all know he's a Duke guy, North Carolina guy. He's the North Carolina resident here on the show. Harrison, Belichick seemed like he wanted to come because, again, his father used to be there for the team. He even had the sweatshirt at his press conference going back to, 1953? And now he's bringing his son Steven there on the staff. What's your thoughts about Prime going to North Carolina?
They ain't bringing that bell back. They ain't bringing it back. That's for damn sure. They ain't bringing that bell back. I'm just gonna say this right now. Manny Diaz is still gonna be a way better head coach than freaking Bill Belichick. I don't care. They not trying to be all talk, but I know we're gonna talk about Belichick. But imagine choking a 20-7 lead. Imagine choking it in the middle of the third quarter. So I'm gonna say this right now. I think they're gonna suck. I think they're gonna suck. We've seen it from Deion because they went 2 wins like last year or something like that, and then they actually went. I think they're gonna suck this year, and then I think they're gonna be good like next year. That's my personal opinion. But they ain't bringing this belt back. Our belt's still staying in Durham.
BRF.
Nah, you know what? I don't think it's going to suck. And you want to know why I don't think it's going to suck? One thing Bill Belichick knows how to do. One thing I will give Bill Belichick. When he has to hit free agency, he'll hit it. What better way to come in your first year as a new head coach and you have the transfer portal like right there staring at you in the face, waiting for you to use. And, certain quarterback in Texas, you might want to talk him into coming and foregoing the NFL draft because they want to go to Arch Manning next year. So why not bring Quinn Ewers with you? Just saying. But that's neither here nor there. I think with the college football landscape is, if I'm Bill Belichick, I wouldn't go in I don't think he's going to go in thinking just off the bat that he knows he's going to come in and just, succeed off the bat or like be ultra successful. Like he understands there's levels to this, and college football is a different beast than the NFL level because there's recruiting outside of your school. Hell, with NIL and transfer portal is recruiting within your school. And then is reporting to your higher ups. whether it's your ads and all that stuff is reporting to them as well. So I mean, it's a completely different ball game. But at the same time, this is still Bill Belichick we're talking about here, and he's gonna bring like a similar. He's gonna bring it's like a similar feel with him, and it might be more when you like say like Dion when he took the Colorado job. He's bringing name. He's bringing the cachet because you know him from the pro games. He's the greatest corner that ever lived. So he's already bringing that. He's bringing cachet there because players relate to him. Players know him, and it's like, oh man, it's Deion Sanders. And you kind of saw that a little bit. You're kind of seeing that a little bit. And I think with Bill Belichick is gonna, I mean, whether people want to admit it or not, it's gonna work in a similar fashion because it's Bill Belichick. It's the greatest pro football coach to ever grace a field. I mean, let's just speak it for what it is. I know college is different, but at the same time, with him bringing that cachet, he's going to draw recruits. He's going to bring people there. My biggest thing with Bill Belichick is how quick he gets it turned around in North Carolina. And not just that, the eyes he puts on the program. Because let's face it, I mean, it's still the ACC. And them schedules aren't exactly like, top tier to where, the creme de la creme are going to be like, oh, man. Like, I don't care how good of a coach Bill Belichick is, you're not going to choose watching Bill Belichick coach over Alabama, Georgia, and Athens next year. Let's just keep it a buck. If they're on the same schedule, you're not watching North Carolina over Alabama, Georgia. I don't care how good of a coach Bill Belichick is. It's just about, but him is mainly about establishing the culture and, trying to turn the wheels there a little bit. I do think he's going to be successful. I think he's got maybe not like 9-10 wins off the bat, but I think he could have them in with the right scenario, with the right pieces there. I don't know, with a coach like Bill Belichick who still understands defense, who's going to bring his people in there. Particularly, he's got his son coming with him in the fold, and he's not exactly a bad coach in his own right. So I mean, he's gonna have
bring
people.
Josh McDaniels. You better not bring Josh McDaniels.
Look, as an offensive coordinator, I don't care. Just don't have him as a head coach. Bring him as an OC. We know he's a good OC, but I mean, from what I understand, he was wanting it to where when he leaves North Carolina, Stephen Belichick's going to take over that job anyway. So I mean, like he's trying to put that in place already. But I think he's got a shot to do something good the first year, maybe 7-8 wins. But like I said, if he really wants to cause some chaos, tell Quinn Ewers to stay another year and come to North Carolina. That'll ruffle some feathers.
I kind of agree with the Archie Manning one. I think that would be a really good option for Bill Belichick, personally. I'm with the same boat as you. So
you might as well get yourself an established quarterback than one of these young quarterbacks, whether if they're a 4 or 5-star. Might as well get an established quarterback, someone who's already been there. Champ, what are your thoughts?
I'm concerned. I'm very concerned because the thing is, I don't know how well he's going to be able to relate to these young guys because we didn't see we saw how he did in New England once Tom Brady left. When Tom Brady left, so did the Patriot way. And you see the correlation of that. And you saw that not only with the New England Patriots for a short period of time, you saw it with Greg Popovich and the Spurs for a short period of time up until now where Victor Wembanyama got drafted, excuse me. So the thing is, I'm concerned if this were 10 years ago and he did this, well, even 8 years ago before NIL, where, Bill Belichick had total control and he still had control over these coaches and these players, and he was able to run things like he did in New England, I would really be excited in order to see it because this will be Bill Belichick in all of his glory because he's the pro version of Nick Saban. They cut from the same cloth. So, and if Nick Saban he was able, and if Nick Saban left, because of NIL and some of the things that was changing throughout college football, what gives me the confidence that Bill Belichick can do what Nick Saban was having a hard time doing, him being the greatest college football coach ever? So I'm concerned. Do I think he will have a decent few years? Yes. Do I think that he's going to go to the ACC and just knock it out of the park? No. Like I said, this is a new day and age of the new athlete. You know, and the NIL money, the personality, these guys trying to get branding deals, and I don't blame them. These athletes have been making money for these huge universities and getting these coaches $100 million contracts for years. For years, they have been getting paid for years off the backs of these young players. So I don't blame them. So, but I will say this: I don't know how successful he's going to be going from the NFL to college. Because the thing is, it's like this: if this were total control, a couple years back, yes. But this is a whole new ball game, and I don't know. But like I said, and you got to think about this: was it really Bill Belichick and him having an eye for talent, or those guys just being able to play with Tom Brady the way they were? You got to think about this. People will say, well, he found Julian Edelman. Yes, I'll give you that. I'll give you the credit for a lot of the receivers and the skill position players that you found. But the thing is, was it really you having an eye for that talent, or Tom Brady bringing the maximum of their ability out of them? You have to ask yourself that, because you stunk it up as the general manager these last couple of years at the New England Patriots. You stunk up the joint. You didn't sign the correct talent. You didn't get the correct talent. So it's going to be interesting to see that now, once again, you have the power in recruiting. The ball is on your court in every little thing. You got to work out every minute and small detail. And now you have total control all over again. How are you going to act with it, and what are you going to do? Because after Tom Brady left, the Patriot way was gone. Now, more than ever, you're going to have a revolving door. There's not going to be any constants in this team. So I don't have as much faith as people are saying. I think he can be a good coach. Do I think he can compete? Do I think in the next couple of years, he's going to be able to compete with Kirby Smart and some of these guys that are winning football games and are in playoff contention left and right? No, I don't. You got to ask yourself this. Did you go to college because that's what you wanted to do? Or did you go there because the NFL no longer saw it fit for you to be there, and they thought the game had passed you by? Got to ask yourself that, because if that was the case, look how many terrible coaches are in the NFL right now. Mike McCarthy being one of them. So, I mean, the coach up there in Chicago, he just got fired. New Orleans coach, the Aints coach, he just got fired.
Dennis Allen,
he just got fired. So, I mean, and from what it looks like, Antonio Pierce may not last a year out there in Las Vegas. He's on his way out. Not to mention, Tom Brady was on record saying that he would love to reunite with you. He was on record saying that. So you got to ask yourself this: did you go to college, back to college, because that's where you wanted to go, or did no one else want you and you had to go there? Question that has to be asked.
did you read my script? I was gonna say exactly the same thing that you said, Chip, but you just beat me to it. What, great minds think alike, as always.
Hey, that's why I call you the New Jersey genius, man, the New Jersey mastermind. Great minds think alike, man.
I think he took this job is because primarily he couldn't evolve with the NFL at times, and he wasn't the same after Tom Brady's departure. Look, Mac Jones may not be the best quarterback in the world, but don't tell me he can succeed with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as his offensive coordinators. That's like giving me government cheese. Okay, I mean that's the best you can give me. That's all you can give me. Just Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as my offensive coordinators. When Matt Patricia is known for defense, and I think Joe Judge is known for special teams. You look, Bill Belichick, to your point, Chad, has to evolve with the times. How's he going to do it with the younger players? Because back then it was DYJ, do your job, right?
Mhm.
Well, this is a different time. And the college football now is not what it once was. Now the players, they have the NIL deals. They're making their money. They got the transfer portal. The reason why it's successful for Dion, not only because he has the connections and the resources like Bill Belichick,
He can appeal.
he's
to them.
relatable with the players. He can talk the same type of language. He couldn't spend his time trying to recruit these guys. And I don't know Bill Belichick at this prime. I'm not going to say he's not going to do a decent job in North Carolina, but the likelihood of him getting North Carolina to the top of the college football teams, nah. I think he took it because A, he wanted something to do, because it seems like to me the NFL has evolved. And he hasn't gotten ahead with the times. So if you want a chance to be back in the NFL, you're going to have to get ahead with the times. And I think he should have stayed retired, because I like the Bill Belichick you see right now. You see him on Inside the NFL. You see him on Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli. That's the type of Bill Belichick I like to see, because when he's doing press conferences as a head coach, it's boring. Like we're on to Cincinnati or something like that. Bill Belichick shows a lot more personality. And another thing, look, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for doing this. How the hell is Bill Belichick going to say no to this?
Oh my God.
Come on, Bill. Ain't that 24 years old, huh?
Man,
that's a beautiful woman right there that you currently dating with, and you go and take the head coaching job in North Carolina. Now, did she try to convince you into taking the job into North Carolina? Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth, Bill. What is it? Viagra ain't working for you? You need to upgrade your Viagra? Bill, you gonna say no to? I'm sorry. Here we go again. You gonna say no to that? 24 years old? That type of woman?
Oh man,
She fine. I mean, look,
I
Belichick,
mean, you're not. I mean, I wish I was dating her. I mean, I'm 21, but like,
you gonna say no to that, Bill? I mean,
I'm not gonna say no to that either. I mean, I'm 21.
I mean, Bill, I understand you want to. I mean, your father, I get it. Your father went to North Carolina, but it's gonna be hard to say no to that. She ain't gonna be around forever. So, am I wrong?
Man, it's the evil world we live in, bro. I'm gonna keep it a stack.
Who gonna say no to that?
I wouldn't say no to that.
That's like Champ. That's like Champ going to the spot, and if he sees a beautiful woman, he gonna tell me he gonna pass up on that?
Nope. Leave me out of this. Leave me out of this. We are not doing that today. We are not doing that today.
Can I just say this personally? Always go for a woman that's in your range. Thank you. That's all I'm gonna say.
Just go for it. Not just for in your range, also go for a woman that's also gonna support you there too.
That
Oh Jesus.
That's a green flag. Thank you, PSP.
And on another note, sometimes just remember, you're not ugly, you're just broke sometimes. Just remember that. But
Facts.
Oh boy.
Moving on, I hope Belichick does well. But the thing is, the concern, he's gonna have to evolve with the times. And how is he gonna try to recruit players the same way Prime is? Now he has the connections and resources that Prime has, but at the same time, he's 70 something years old. Prime is in his
Jesus Christ.
Prime is still young enough. Prime still has the type of charisma and personality that he can talk to these players. How is Belichick going to do that? I disagree with Stephen A. Smith when he said it's beneath him to take this head coaching job. If that's what you want to do, hey, you don't need anyone's approval. I don't think it's beneath him at all. He probably wants to do it because his father used to be in that program. Maybe he wants something to do. Maybe he needs to show something. In the words of Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? So if he wants to have a chance to be back in the NFL, he's going to have to evolve with the times. And also with the college football times. You can't treat the college football players like football coaches did in the past. Because now with the NIL deals, now with the transfer portal, you do something to them, you rub them the wrong way, they're going to transfer. Well within their right. So Belichick is going to have to do his part to communicate with the guys. You can't treat the players, you can't treat the younger players like you did in your days in New England. They don't look at you like that. These are different generations. So he's going to have to do his part cultivating relationships with the younger players. But damn, Bill, you gonna say no? You gonna take the head coaching job? But meanwhile, I'm sorry. That's just tough for me to do.
That is such a beautiful woman.
To be honest with you, I'm a look. Speaking of the transfer portal, look, you got to be careful because these guys will leave. Because hey, if you don't believe these young men will get off their behinds and enter that transfer portal, I'm gonna bring my little face into this camera right here. If you don't believe these young men will hit that transfer portal on your behind, just ask the University of Marshall at this point, because they did not re-sign their coach and their whole darn team entered the transfer portal. Their whole team entered the transfer portal.
And also the University of Arizona too, because they lost like 21 players right now.
Exactly. So these guys, look, I don't have to look. It's kind of like us, and I'm glad that it's like that. It's kind of like us in the real world. Hey, job ain't treating you right. All right, I'll take my services somewhere else for less stress and more money.
Right. On a serious note, guys, if Bill Belichick does not do well, my thing, champ, because you brought up with the media and how they treat Prime, are they going to hold Bill Belichick to that same standard? Because the thing is, if he doesn't do well, I don't want the media, and you know a very certain individual, champ, I won't say his name, the one who's been criticizing Deion Sanders any chance he gets. I think you know exactly who I'm referring to. My thing is with the media, are you going to be consistent? Because if Bill Belichick struggles, I don't care if it's his first or second year, are you going to hold him to the same standard like you did with Prime? And if the answer is no, because of his aura, because he's a 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach, then to me it is nothing more than a double standard, and they need to shut the bleep up.
Well, to be honest with you, when you got 6 Super Bowls, of course you're going to be held. You're going to get more grace than anybody. To be honest with you. Now, granted, Deion Sanders does have a reputation a mile long as far as his credentials in the NFL, as far as his coaching. You know, coached at Jackson State, brought them back, and they're still continuing on to this day. Their success, they're in a bowl game. They're in the Holiday Bowl right now. And he helped put the SWAC back on the map, on the national media stage, I would say. You know, it's always been on the map as far as HBCUs are concerned, but on the national stage, he put them back on the map. But the thing is, you're going to get a lot more grace when you are a Super Bowl winner and you know how, and you've built not one but 2 teams. Because remember, people don't want to remember this, but the thing is, people want to always bring up the fact, well, he didn't succeed in Cleveland. Well, would you succeed in Cleveland when it's being announced that your team is being sold in the middle of the season and your team is 4-2? Heck no, you won't. So yeah, I don't blame him for not succeeding in Cleveland. My team is being sold while I'm in the middle of trying to win a Super Bowl. People don't want to take into account this. Before Art Modell, God rest his soul, announced that he was moving the team to Baltimore, the Cleveland Browns with Bill Belichick, they was 5-2 in first place. Yeah. And the year before, he went to the playoffs and won a playoff game with Vinny Testaverde as his quarterback. Yeah. So the thing is, when you got a resume that's a mile long, 2 tons long, not to mention he helped develop Burt Jones back in the 70s, the Madison Avenue with Burt Jones, but I digress. When you have a rap sheet of being great all across the board, you're going to get a lot of grace. Should he be held to the fire? No. The thing is, and let's just keep it all the way at 100. The reason why Bill Belichick is going to get grace, because he's not talking.
Unlike Prime.
And that's not saying anything derogatory towards Prime for those who are watching. When you are quiet about a lot of the things that you're trying to do, you're going to get a lot more grace than somebody who's talking. Let's just keep it honest. If you keep telling somebody, hey, I'm finna go take the trash out, in 2 hours to pass by and you ain't took the trash out, you can't get mad as when they finally grab the bag and then take it out the doors and throw it in the dumpster themselves and say you're lazy.
Mm-hmm.
So of course Bill Belichick, as long as he is the Bill Belichick that we know, as far as the one in New England, he's gonna get a heck of a lot of grace. But now, if he just so happen to switch up, then the criticism is gonna be.
That's my point, Chip. If we see the Belichick in his last few years in New England, my question is with the media, are you going to hold him to the standard? Because as Shannon Sharp says, you got to update your resume. You don't get to live off the 6 Super Bowls and stuff. Okay, we know what you've done in New England. What are you doing now in college football? Yes, it's easy to target Prime because Prime is provocative. Prime does a lot of talking. And sometimes it's not easy for the media to deal with. Belichick, on the other hand, he probably won't get as much criticism as Prime because, again, he doesn't talk as much. My brother and I, we were having that discussion. But my thing is, wait a minute, Bill, you were here for a reason. And again, if we got to be consistent, not just the media, but the public, we got to be consistent. If Belichick slips up, then essentially what we're saying, if he slips up, and if we don't hold him accountable, then essentially we're not doing our part, our job. And I feel like we're giving favoritism or biasism because of who he is, his aura, what he's accomplished. I get it. It's easy to target Prime because of his personality. But if Belichick struggles and if he doesn't turn around North Carolina, are we going to hold that against him? And plus, if he doesn't turn around in North Carolina, will this be further evidence as to say, you know what, if it weren't for Tom Brady? Because again, Shannon Sharp, he and Skip used to argue whether who deserved most of the credit. Was it Brady or Belichick? And Shannon Sharp has admitted that he was wrong about Tom Brady, that he owed Tom Brady a lot more credit than he deserved. Because after Tom Brady's departure from New England, we seen him go to Tampa and was able to win a Super Bowl and accomplish elsewhere. Belichick, on the other hand, he's got a lot to prove because this is new standards, new expectations. Again, in North Carolina, it's the ACC. So you're going to have to deal with that. I just hope that if he struggles, you hold him to the same standard as you will hold anybody else. And if you're not, then essentially, what does it say about us as the media, as content creators, podcasters like ourselves? We're not doing our jobs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. But you know as well as I do, that even if, and that's a huge if, he fails, and it really depends on what you consider failure. Because now, if a coach makes it to a bowl, nowadays you got to make it to the college football playoffs if you want to be considered a great coach. Because you can rest assured they're going to be talking about if Coach Prime don't make it to the college football playoff within the next couple of years, they're going to start talking. Right. Having a bowl game just ain't enough now. And even when you make the college football playoff consistently, which Ryan Day has, they still have criticism about him because he can't beat Michigan. But the thing is, that a lot of biased media is going to give Bill Belichick a lot more grace because they said, hey, and this is what they're going to do. They're going to say, hey, this is just the cherry on top for his career. He had already won big ones and small ones and everywhere in between. Okay, the game has passed you by. This is just evidence of that. Sometimes failure can be the perfect send-off to say, hey, maybe the game has passed me by. That certain media members are going to say that.
Right.
So, and like I said, it's easy to get that grace. It's easy. When not only have you won before, especially when you got the most Super Bowl rings and conference championships in the NFL history, but also when you're not chirping. People are going to be saying, okay, well, you accomplished what you did in the NFL. Okay, you didn't succeed at North Carolina. Bye. Some media members are going to say that. We might not, but he's going to get that favoritism.
But keep in mind, champ, he does have some flaws. Spygate.
Yeah, but you know what? Like we say down south, man, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying hard enough.
But again, you make a great point, champ.
In
But
football, I will say,
yeah, you make a great point, champ. But I just hope though that people just hold him to the same standard. And I get it with Prime. Like I'll say it again. Sorry if I sound redundant. Yes, Prime does say a lot. Prime is very outspoken. I just feel like if you don't hold Belichick to that standard by turning around that program, then essentially what we're saying, you're just giving him a pass because of what he's accomplished, his aura. In your eyes, he can do nothing wrong. I just feel like you should hold everybody accountable, regardless of their accomplishments, regardless of before. Yes, you're a 6-time Super Bowl champion. That can't be taken away. You're one of the greatest head coaches in NFL history. But I'm going to be judging you based on what you've done in college. That's like with Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson, and champ, Phil Jackson is a great head coach, one of the greatest head coaches in NBA history. But need to remind folks, how did he do in New York when he was the president of basketball operations?
I mean, it speaks for itself. And to your point, you saw what he was not able to do when he didn't have a Jerry West or a Jerry Krause with him. But that's another story for another day.
BRF or Harrison, is there anything you want to add before we get into some NFL?
After that segment, I'm good. We can keep pushing. I'm good.
I got something to say.
Go ahead, Harrison.
I remember in his press conference, he said, remember Belichick's first words when he was like a baby? He said, beat Duke. And that honestly kind of triggered me a little bit. Because now I'm starting to hate North Carolina just because of that. So you know what, Bill Belichick? You ain't getting that belt back next year. You are not going to be a good head coach next year. Well, I feel like you're going to get better next year. Now, next other year, different story. But you ain't getting my belt. You ain't getting the belt. You ain't getting that belt back. So, beat Duke. That's such a terrible first words.
But again, that woman is going to be hard to say no to that.
PSV, you're not wrong, bro. But
what do you want me to do? I can't help myself. Hey, champ, you said it yourself. It's the highlight of Friday night. You gave that coin term. So hey. But speaking of speaking of nights, last night, by any chance, did y'all see the Rams 49ers game last night?
That was the game.
Yeah, last night.
That's what I'm saying. That was a game. That was not a game. I don't know what that was last night.
That was a baseball game. If it was a baseball game, different story. But I'll go first if you don't mind.
Go ahead. What were your thoughts on the game, and especially what were your thoughts on Devondre Campbell walking out of the game?
I just heard about that this morning. Did you quit? Did bro just quit? He said, I ain't doing this anymore, bro, because this team is trash. Even though it's crazy that Paw Patrol was owning Brock Purdy. Did you guys see the memes on he was on Paw Patrol?
I didn't see that.
Man, I'll probably send you this on freaking Instagram because he was. Oh my god! It was so freaking stupid, but so funny. Hold up. Paul Patrol saying, "I'm under pressure." I was like, "Yeah, you were under pressure between the rookie from Florida State, Braden Fisk." It's just like when I just been seeing like the 49ers struggle with injuries, this has been making my day because I can't stand the fans. I can't stand the team. I can't stand George Kittle. I can't stand. Okay, let me calm down on Purdy right now because he will always be. When I am the Brock Purdy hater, but he will never ever be a top 10 quarterback in the league. He would always be a top 15 quarterback. And people are saying that's bad. And people saying a system quarterback is bad. It's not bad. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. But how about Puka Nacua, though? Coming back from the injury and playing like a DAWG. And you know what's crazy? That Cooper Kupp was actually silent like a mofo. A big old donut. You see that on my camera. A big old donut. Nothing. He didn't get any playing time. Get no attention. It's like that little kid always trying to get like their parents' attention. That's what he got. No attention. None. But all I'm gonna say is right now, I think it's time to pack the bags. Your season's over, San Francisco, and I think it's time to join Cancun because come join me. Even though we're not eliminated yet. We're not eliminated yet. You need to join us right now and join Cancun like we are because
they can join the Giants and Jets for all I care.
That's all I care because, my God, I'm glad to see the 49ers not making the playoffs, but I don't want to see the Chiefs make the Super Bowl again because I didn't watch 3 quarters of the game. I only watched the halftime report and probably the 4th quarter last year. But Deebo Samuel, what the frick is going on with you, my G? What has been going on with Deebo? Were you eating Butterfingers for breakfast, or just like did you like? What is going on with Deebo Samuel? What? But I'm lost for words right now. I like that game. I thought this could be a high-scoring game, a really good Thursday night football game. I was gonna chill, eat some popcorn, and probably give myself a Gatorade. But nah, I'd watch a baseball game. The MVP was from the Rams. I forgot who's the kicker's name for the Rams because. And also Matthew Wright as well. I don't know who their kicker is. I don't know. But right now, the Rams, they're scary. They're scary right now. If you're playing against the Rams in the playoffs, you are going to be shaking in your boots because Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, well, Braden Fisk. I don't know about Braden Fisk though because he's been on and off.
Don't forget Blake Corum.
Blake Corum, sorry. Yeah, Blake Corum too, sorry. But they could be dangerous in the playoffs, bro. They can I don't say Super Bowl, but they can make that underdog story to make the NFC Championship.
Well, we got to wait and see because Seattle right now is leading the NFC West. And shout out to our guy, Brandon from the block. Please go check out his podcast every Mondays and Wednesday nights. By the way, also, I heard the report Jair Alexander won't play in that game against the Seattle Seahawks. So that's a big one for there.
What's the injury, Mr. PSP?
I checked the report. I don't know what happened, but I'll let you know in just a second.
Gotcha.
But BRF or Champ, I'll let BRF go. What were your thoughts about the game, and what were your thoughts about Devondre Campbell walking out?
As a Falcons fan and who watched him his first few years in the league down in Atlanta, this kind of shocked me because like he basically went to Green Bay after Atlanta cut him, basically resurrected his career in Green Bay, like became one of the better outside linebackers in the league, became one of the better pass coverage linebackers in the league, just resurrected his career. and then to kind of keep the success going in San Fran, and then for this was like, bro, I doubt you ever get another job in the league because no team's gonna trust you because you quit on your squad last night. It's pretty much what you did. You quit on your squad, and it's not like y'all out of the game. I mean, good gracious, nobody scored a touchdown last night. It's not like y'all out of the game, but it's like you checked out. You mentally checked out, and we saw it coming. They cut you today because of that. I mean, I doubt a team got to have a lot of nerve and just a lot of patience to wanna bring him in. I don't see him getting another job anytime soon because no team's gonna trust his mental. No team's gonna trust his mental
You
at
think his
all.
career is over?
It's clear his bought down. It's really because I mean it's gonna be hard for him to get a job because no team's gonna trust his mentality to come in and be trustworthy as far as like is he gonna play for us for the entire year or at the first sign of trouble is he gonna just quit and walk off?
You know what reminds me of BRF? Sorry to interrupt you or cut your thunder. Not exactly, but to some extent, AB. Remember how Antonio Brown walked out of that game against the New York Jets? Now,
Yeah.
Devondre Campbell didn't do exactly the way AB did by throwing his helmet and shoulder pads and all that other stuff. But once he did that, there was no chance he was going to get back on an NFL roster. Not after what he did on that day. And you make a valid point. His career may be over because with Antonio Brown, look, he already had a lot of problems to begin with in the first place before he was in Tampa. And let's not act like AB couldn't play. He could still play at that time. But after that incident, there was no chance he was going to be back on an NFL roster.
Nah,
So,
and this right here, with Devondre Campbell. I mean, Devondre Campbell is nowhere near the name that Antonio Brown was. So
right.
when Antonio Brown did that, if he didn't get another job, I don't know what the heck would make him think he gonna get another job. So he's like he's not even in the name stratosphere as an Antonio Brown. So that just he basically committed. He basically destroyed. I think he just destroyed any chance of getting on a team anytime soon. No team's going to trust his. No team's going to trust his heart for it. They're going to question him if they want to bring him in. They're going to question him like, "Are you? Do you really want to do this? Are you here because you really want to do this?" He's going to get that question from now until he retires. I think his career is just about over at this point. No team's going to want to sign him. And I
Right.
mean, yeah, and talking about that game last night. Period. That was like, wow. That was ugly from the word go. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Puka Nakua having the game he had last night, that game was just a crap show to say the very least. I mean, and you would think like a 12-6 game, both teams defenses would just show up and like have a party, but it was more the Rams defense. I've never seen a 12-6 game where like a defense really didn't play that well. And the 49ers defense, even though the game was 12-6, their defense really did not play that well last night. And that's been the calling card for the San Francisco 49ers. Their defense was not that great last night in a 12-6 game, which makes it crazy. Now, the LA Rams, on the other hand, they were beating the daylights out of Brock Purdy last night. They were hitting him every chance they got. Whether it was Braden Fisk, whether it was Jared Verse, it didn't matter who it was. They were hitting him. I'm talking about they were putting a hat on a hat when it came to Brock Purdy last night. 49ers couldn't do anything. Couldn't do a thing. And at this point right now, if I'm the Seattle Seahawks, yeah, you may be first in the West. LA can catch you. LA can catch you. Because right now, I look at it from the standpoint of right now, they're getting hot at the right time. And to be completely honest with you, I think the offenses are a bit of a wash because I think they're both really talented offenses when you look at who they have on that side of the ball. Now, I'll say this though, I trust Matthew Stafford 100 times more than I do Geno Smith, but that's neither here nor there. And then when you look at the defenses, I'll give you this: Seattle's defense has been on the roll as of late, but I think the LA Rams can catch them. So Seattle just has to keep I think for
needless to say,
Seattle,
you trust Sean McVay. Needless to say, you trust Sean McVay.
absolutely, absolutely. I do. Sean McVay's been. This is a been there, done that. This is a been there, done that kind of situation for Sean McVay. He understands late. He understands late season December pressure when the heat's on and when the games are starting to really mount up and mean something. Sean McVay's been there, done that. He's been there, done that. He's been to two Super Bowls and won one. He understands this. He knows what it's about. So I'm definitely trusting Sean McVay in this situation with the NFC West on the line. I'm trusting him way more than what's his name, Mike McDonald in Seattle. So yeah, but now I'll say this though, he's McDonald in Seattle has done wonders. He's been a good coach for Seattle, and that defense. I think I saw some stats. They're like I think
Yeah,
since week
Baltimore
nine.
missing him, huh?
Y'all think since week nine they're what like the number 3 defense in the National Football League since week 9 or something like that. I mean that defense been on a roll. I give Seattle props because I thought that was gonna be like the weak link of the Seattle Seahawks with that defense. But since the midway point of the season, they've shown up. But LA's on one of them rolls, man. If I'm Seattle, I watch out. LA can catch them.
Hey, Baltimore, they missing out on Mike McDonald because remember, he was the former defensive coordinator. And what did he do with the Baltimore Ravens last year?
Ooh, that was an historic defense.
Yep. Big Champ, let me talk to you. What were your thoughts about the game? What were your thoughts about Devondre Campbell leaving the game? And also, too, I forgot to ask y'all, what were your thoughts on George Kittle and Travarius Ward's comments about Devondre Campbell's actions?
Number one, before I get into DeAndre Campbell, that game was kind of slow as pond water. The first time this season, no touchdown was scored on the offensive side of the ball for the first time this season. So that game was it was pretty much a blunder bowl. Like I said, if it wasn't for Puka Nacua showing out, it would have been a super blunder. But I digress. First of all, look, I got to say this before I get into DeAndre Campbell. Deebo Samuels, I want you to do me one small favor, just one. I want you to go to San Francisco Municipal Court at City Hall and change your name from Deebo Samuels to Manos de Piedra. I want you to change your name to Manos de Piedra. And if you don't speak Habla Espanol, that's going to be that. I want you to change your name to Hands of Stone. That's what I need you to change your name to. Remember the name, Manos de Piedra. Shout out to the great Roberto Duran. You need to call him up and change your name to Manos de Piedra because you talked all that yin-yang all week long on Twitter. I ain't being targeted. And not only were you targeted 7 times, you dropped the ball twice.
Bro, at Butterfingers, man.
Had it in your hand. So, yeah, you need to change your name to Manos de Piedra because you can't catch a cold in Alaska right now. So, we don't want to hear nothing else until you start catching that ball. You cannot catch a cold in barefooted Alaska soaking wet. So, that's what you need to do. Go change your name to Manos de Piedra right now because we don't want to hear nothing else this season.
Nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing else from Deebo Samuel this year. I did not think the San Francisco 49ers passing game was going to miss Brandon Ayuk this much. They missed him bad.
Was horrible this year. Brandon Ayuk was still struggling.
It don't matter.
It didn't matter. Yeah, you're right. My fault.
Hey, the reason why I still say they miss him is because of how he opened up the offense in particular. It opened up Deebo Samuel for him to just do whatever, whenever, whether it's the running game and all that other stuff. You notice they're not using them in the running game that as much as they were when they were like running on all cylinders. Because hey, you got Brandon Ayuk running the routes and making the catches. Deebo Samuel can just be Mr. Do It All. He can be the Swiss Army. He can be the Swiss Army knife. Whether he's running routes, catching passes, or running the rock, he can't do that as much. And you see, and some of us, myself included, has been saying Brandon Ayuk is a better pure wide receiver than Deebo Samuel, and it's showing. And it's clearly showing.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, Deebo Samuel is a free agent after this year, correct?
Good luck getting money is all I got to say. After this season, he gonna this off of name value alone. Somebody gonna pay him, but boy, he ain't earned it this year. I tell you that for
He
damn
ain't.
sure.
Yeah, he ain't earned.
You know, Champ, you mentioned minus paid DH Roberto Duran, huh? You know, you remember 5 years ago? Remember, Champ, Philadelphia? There was this guy who was catching babies off the fire, and remember how he got on Nelson Aguilar? That's exactly what that guy needs to tell Debo Samuel. No, seriously, Harrison, that's what happened. They were actually catching babies from a fire, and he bragged about, well, we was catching them, unlike Aguilar.
Unlike Aguilar.
Look at Harrison's face.
Hey, bro, it was a news interview, and he literally said that.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of crazy. Holy man.
No,
That's
I'm not lying. That's
they
true.
they were saving those kids from fire or something.
When was that? When was that?
2019.
And if we could throw one more Roberto Duran reference up in here, he needs to say no mas to Twitter.
Exactly. So,
but go ahead, Champ.
As far as his teammates saying that was some sucker blank and calling him out like that just like, look, I'm just gonna be real. That's just like me. I'm just gonna be honest. That's just like us in the middle of a show saying, and me saying just for no apparent reason, I don't feel like talking tonight. What? In the great words of someone famous, or the great words of a famous Hollywood producer, you'll never work in this town again. I don't know which Hollywood producer said that, but I know he was famous. He told one guy, you'll never work in this town again. And Campbell, you ain't gonna work in this town no more. It's gonna take somebody extremely desperate in order to give you a job. Boy, you was a no-call, no-show today, man. We at least we got a new meme out today. You know, you see your if you don't feel like going to work today, you see your boss a picture of DeAndre Campbell. What did it mean? That mean I ain't coming. So if you don't feel like going to your job tomorrow, go ahead and see your boss a picture of DeAndre Campbell. That'll let him
or halfway in the shift, texting a picture and be like, "Hey, what this for?" Oh no, that mean I'm walking out.
I'm walking out. But we haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything like this. Not only since the Antonio Brown incident, but since
Vontae Davis.
He God rest his soul. He retired in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. And the thing is, look, I'm gonna just be honest. You don't just act on impulse when something like that happens. Well, outside of the Antonio Brown situation, because we knew he was kind of thrown off slightly anyway. But as far as his behaviors are concerned, I would say you had to have been thinking about that the entire day before you did it. That just didn't happen. And I'm pretty sure had he went to the coach and said something before the game, he probably would have got a pass. They'd have probably made up an injury or something like that. Or, if he said his mental health was off or something like that, he'd probably still be working right about now if he did that before the game. But for you to do that in the middle of a game, that is, hey, you'll never work in this town again, man. And they didn't waste no time cutting him either. I mean, it's kind of like when you know something is about to happen, you're just holding your collective breath to see when it's going to happen. And it was a shock to me that he made it even on the plane, because that was a home game last night. It was a shock to me that he even made it on the bus. So because they didn't cut him until late in the afternoon. I'm like, well, darn, I'm surprised you even made it to this morning. But yeah, the 49ers, they're definitely in trouble right now. For everybody who's saying fire Kyle Shanahan, please.
No, just stop.
Be quiet.
You're not gonna find anybody better than Kyle Shanahan. I understand Kyle Shanahan has had I understand Kyle Shanahan. Sorry to cut you off, Champ, but
it's all good.
You're not gonna find anyone that is comparable to him.
No.
I understand the Super Bowl blunders. I get all that stuff. But as far as play callers offensively, can you name a better play caller, offensive play caller, besides either Andy Reid, Sean McVay, or Ben Johnson?
No.
No.
And plus that team as far as injuries, they broke up like Christmas toys at this point. So that's another reason why they're struggling. The best team money can buy, like I said, they team is broke up like Christmas toys, and they are not looking good as far as injuries are concerned. And it seems like the injuries have not only taken their stars, they've taken away their depth.
Yeah.
CMC got hurt, Mason got hurt, and now they down to their third string quarterback.
Now they're on their fifth.
They're on their fifth. So the other guy he got hurt as well.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So you down to your fifth string running back right now. You down to almost. Right now, as far as receivers go, it's just Debo, Manos De Piedra and company at this point because Brandon Ayuk is out.
Yep.
George Kittle has been injured on and off. Then Jefferson, he's out. Ricky Pearsall, he has yet to get back to full speed as of yet because if something tragic like that happens to you, it's gonna be a minute before you can get up to full speed, and he's a rookie. But yeah, like I said, then the injuries to the defensive side of the ball, they didn't get Greenlaw back until last night. So then you had he just quit on the team. So there's a lot of things going on within that organization as far as injuries are concerned and their depth being taken away that has depleted this team. So for everybody saying you need to fire Kyle Shanahan, your whole team's hurt at this point. You got a bunch of champs out there. I don't know anybody. I don't know any coach that can win with that in the NFL level. You got a bunch of me's out there. You can't. So if you're expecting him to make chicken salad out of chicken sticks, then you're really, it's gonna take a miracle and a prayer in order to do that. So stop it. Don't do that. Don't play yourself like that because right now, with this team fully healthy, and this team is still relatively young, with the exception of Trent Williams, I would say. This team is still relatively young and in its prime, and when it's healthy, no one can stop them. Please be careful what you wish for because it just might come true. And right now, whether we want to admit it or not, guess what? Kyle Shanahan is top 5 coach in the league at this point. I'm sorry if people are so spoiled to the point where we think that winning Super Bowls are easy. And I'm sorry that Patrick Mahomes, Bill Belichick, and Tom Brady made us think that winning Super Bowls are just easy. It ain't.
It ain't easy.
It ain't easy. So, yeah,
Yep.
you know, like I know, you keep your mouth closed, bear out this year just to see what happens going down the stretch because there's still a lot of time left. There's still some wild card spots that can open up. So just bear with it. And, hey, just because you went from bang, bang, Niner game to pew, pew just for 1 year, stop complaining. Y'all worse than Alabama fans when it comes to that.
I hate that. I hate when they say that. It's just...
Champ, the 49ers right now, Andy Dalton at one point, he was called the Red Rifle.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers right now, they were a cap gun. They're not even a cap gun. And if they were firing blanks.
Hey,
so that's where they are right now.
Super circle. They're super circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey,
Super
me and my
circle,
pops used to call Andy Dalton when he was playing bad. We used to call him the Red Dead Revolver. So, I think that could be something.
Red Dead Revolver. That is
Red Dead Revolver.
My take on the whole Devondre Campbell thing. He ain't getting another job in the NFL again. And it's disappointing because again, he was a good football player for the Green Bay Packers in 2021, made first team All-Pro. He's obviously there because Greenlaw got hurt. They need depth at the linebacker position, and you quit just like that. And I don't know how the team is going to. I don't know any team in the NFL that's going to take a shot on him. So when you do something like that, that's the unforgivable sin. And I don't know, like, if he were producing, like if he were an elite level, that would be the only way he would be on an NFL roster. If he were a big household name, that would be the only way that he would still be on an NFL team. But because he's not that same status player like a Patrick Mahomes or like a defensive player like a TJ Watt or before Aaron Donald, and because of his actions that night, there's no chance in hell he's getting back on an NFL roster. And it's just very unfortunate because I was listening on First Take. Ryan Clark, he brought up a lot of things that the 49ers were dealing with. They've dealt with injuries. Kavarius Ward, who was one of the people who also called him out. Remember, Kavarius Ward also lost his daughter during this season. And, you know, that is a personal situation. And still, he was still able to go and play. And for Devondre Campbell to take an action such as that, to leave the team, I don't see how you're going to find employment. I mean, I just don't. There's not even an apology, not even a statement from you or your agent or any of your representation. There's no chance in hell he's going to get back on an NFL roster. So he just gave away his NFL career, as far as I'm concerned. And it's really unfortunate because it was on national TV. Nobody's going to forget this. Not anytime soon.
Hey, in the great words of Tyrese, the famous singer, what he said on Fast and Furious 2, use them bus tokens, partner.
I think this is even worse than the freaking Anthony Richardson. I think it's way worse.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's not even, that's not even on the same echelon of comparable, because the thing is, at least he came out and admitted.
He said he was tired.
And he admitted and said, I was tired. That's why I took myself out the game. And I believe that him getting benched was a punishment to say, hey, you got to have yourself in condition. You can't show weakness like that. You can't be out there, you know, being unconditioned and undisciplined. I believe that was a punishment, him getting benched. And since then, he's came out of it. That's not even on the same echelon. Like I said.
And plus, he was drafted that high, and they drafted him to be their guy, the face of the franchise. So if you cut him, despite his flaws on the field, who are you going to find in return?
Yeah, and like I said, you got to know your role. You knew Chad, you knew Greenlaw was going to come back. And if that's the reason why you didn't want to play anymore, then you should have, asked to be waived. I mean, look, there's no correct way to do something wrong. Let's just get that out of the way. There's no correct way to do something wrong. So, but if you didn't want to play anymore because you knew you didn't want to play for that team anymore, because you knew that Greenway was coming back, you just should have said, hey, look, let's keep this quiet. Could you release me so I can go play for another team? If playing time was an issue at this point.
I don't think Brett's playing for another team.
But if playing time wasn't the point, and even if you had something personal going on, because what I'm hoping is this. What I'm hoping is something comes out that's like dramatic that caused him to just go AWOL. I'm hoping something dramatic comes out that say, okay, this is why I just went AWOL. Because if it doesn't,
well, he had to be thinking about this.
Yeah.
When you do something like that, champ, you can't just say, nah, I'm going to leave. Something had to happen in order for you to do it. Not justifying, not excusing what he did, but there has to be a reason as to why you would leave on a job like that.
Yeah, there has to be a reason. And I'm hoping I'm not hoping for the worst. I will say that. Let me be privy. I'm hoping that when he finally puts out a statement, it's something that you can say, okay, I understand, or at least get why you would do that. But if it's anything outside of the scope of something just dramatic happening, then guess what? You'll never work in this town again. And I'm going to just be honest, man. Look, when San Francisco gives up on you, San Francisco has given many players as far as dating all the way back to the end of the Bartolo days. they have given many players a second act in the NFL. So when they decide click, I mean, it's only a matter of time. And if you don't believe that, and I'm not comparing to it, if you don't believe that, look at Trey Lance. They gave up on him. You so far back on the bench in Dallas, they got to shoot you, Gatorade. So, hey.
I feel you, champ. No question about it. But champ, I'm sorry, I got to bring this up. Your Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
They lost to the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins has been struggling taking care of the football. We got BRF back. Champ, what is going on with Kirk Cousins, man? Because he has been turnovering the football, man. He's giving food away like crazy. He's giving away the football like crazy.
Lord, my phone died. I come back to this. God damn.
You know I had to bring this up, BRF. Come on now.
Whoa,
I have to talk about this.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
champ,
y'all still suck. Be quiet.
So, champ, I gotta hold you and BRF to the fire because you had this team prior to the season, just like I did, to win the division. Champ, you've been advocating forever. Atlanta. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now are leading the NFC South. Is it finally time for you to bench Kirk Cousins and to go forward with Michael Penix Jr.? And are you almost about done with the Atlanta Falcons this season?
To be honest with you, to answer the second part of that question, I will never give up on Atlanta. If you can if you can go through 2 Super Bowl losses with a team, you can get through anything with them. And not only that, man, look, at BRF, you could attest to this. People talk about the Cincinnati Bengals in the 90s. Outside of maybe a couple of seasons, I remember when we was bidding for the top overall pick damn near every year. So, yeah, I never give up on Atlanta, man. Look, I mean, number one, this is the second half of the season. Teams are figuring you out at this point. And so, look, you're not that mobile at this point in time. And look, it might be that time in order to do it. He can't take care of the football at this point. He's thrown 11 interceptions to 0 touchdowns in the last 4 games. It's nasty. It's a nasty place. So my thing is this. Look, at the beginning of this year, I applaud the Atlanta organization because you showed us that you are committed to winning. You went and made the big free agent splashes. You went and got everything you could, and I applaud you for that. But now it's time to show us again that you're committed to winning. I understand that we just signed Kirk Cousins to a super contract, 2-year contract, $180 million. I get that. But right now, we are in a position to make the playoffs. And we have the Raiders coming up on Monday night. So the thing is, which is a very, very beatable team, by the way. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and say, hey, we're going to see how this plays out? And when Kirk Cousins lays an egg in Las Vegas and now we're back 2 games behind and now you're going to put it on Michael Penix? Because the thing is, the longer you wait, the more that's going to ratchet up the pressure on Michael Penix Jr. That the more you're going to ratchet up the pressure on him. Because you waited till you 2 to 3 games behind. Now he got to win out. And now people are looking at Michael Penix crazy. So if you're going to do something, you might want to do it now. Because Kirk has not been good. And the thing is, think about that. Atlanta, look, man. These leads that you blow, it's starting to just really bother me. How in the blankety blank do you go from 6-3 to being 6-7? How does that happen? You were 6-3 with the Tampa Bay Bucks at 6-4. With the Tampa Bay Bucks at 4-6, they had lost Chris Godwin. They had lost Mike Evans for a period of time, and you still let them catch us.
You guys know how to choke pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nasty place, man. I mean,
I'm sorry, but like you haven't been. You guys just have been choking ever since 2016, ever since 28-3.
I'm not listening to a Panther fan talking about choking, but go ahead.
but the thing is, don't be mean.
Hold on, no.
Don't be
I
mean.
ain't
Past
doing
couple.
it. I
No.
ain't doing it.
We're gonna do this
Don't be
tonight.
mean. No, be
Why?
no.
Ain't
We've
doing
been
it.
kept in it. We've been kept in it close every single
Ain't doing it.
game. We've been close every single game. We almost want to get to Philly. We almost beat Tampa Bay if Cuba didn't fumble that freaking football.
You almost beat
We
Kansas
almost beat
City.
the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. But even though everyone's been keeping it close against the Chiefs, but I'm so happy that we kept it close against the Chiefs. BRF, no, we ain't doing that tonight.
To be honest with you, look, I think it's a lot of
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of issues with the play calling as well because they got him in the pistol. I don't think he's comfortable in the pistol formation. You know, as he showed the first couple of games when they took him out the pistol, he was good. But the thing is, he's not good under pressure. He's the worst quarterback under pressure at this point. And teams are starting to figure you out the second half of the season. And look, like I said, Atlanta, the organization itself, I cannot get mad at them.
They've done their part.
Because they did their part. But the thing is, I need one more favor from you. Show me you trying to win once again. Put Michael Penix in there. Because the thing is this. We missed the playoff again, that attendance is going to go down. And when that attendance started to go down, a lot of stuff started to go down. So, hey, I think we should look into that, especially if he start. Look, don't wait until the last minute in order to complete the project. If you know the project is due on Friday, have it done by Wednesday. Don't wait until the last minute to complete a project, and then you want to wake everybody up and say, I need some glue. And the thing is, don't wait until Kirk Cousins has another horrible game and then want to put the pressure on. Now everybody's looking at Michael Penix like, okay, bail us out. You got to remember, he's still a rookie. Go ahead, put him in, write a game plan that based around that running game. You already proved that you have a hell of a running game. And just go ahead and put him in, if anything, to see what he can do. But look, Atlanta, it's time, man. You've already a blown lead from 6-3 to now being 6-7. That's enough evidence that you need a change somewhere on that team, especially at the quarterback position. But to not have scored a passing touchdown in the last 4 games, and you lost 4 straight. We got hammered the last 4 games. For that to happen, you got to make a change. In the great words of Owen Hart, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Hey, make that change, man. I understand. Like I said, I understand you trying to get as much as possible out of Kirk Cousins with that huge contract. But look, we are still in position in order to make the playoffs, and we're in the same position last year that we were in with Desmond Ridder. Why? Because our quarterback cannot stop throwing interceptions and turning the ball over, and it's looking stiff as a board out there. So you got to do something, Atlanta. But as far as I never give up on Atlanta. I'm a homer to the end. Hey, there was times when we was going 2-14 on a regular basis, and I was still watching the games. But I'll never give up on the Atlanta Falcons, man. But the thing is, the organization showed us that they was committed to winning, but you got to show us one more thing, man. Hey, man, that money ain't enough for you to lose fanfare, man. Just being real. But hey, y'all got to do something, man. Y'all can't let Georgia and the Braves be the only great thing in this damn state.
Well, champ, you better hope the Falcons get a win because you are facing the Raiders Monday night. So this should be a win for you to take care of business, champ. I was actually calling. I should have called Mama champ because I didn't know after that game I don't know if you weren't gonna go to New Orleans and become a Saints fan all of a sudden. I don't know. You
Hell
wanna
no.
No,
I love
I
your
never.
answer.
Number one, look,
That's
you're
serious,
my
man.
BRF. Good
Boy,
God.
don't you start with that.
Number one, look, I'd rather cheer for. Hey, look, my mom already. I'd rather cheer for the Cowboys than they ever cheer for the Aints. But I digress. But
I can't imagine Chad wearing a cowboy jersey.
I
I
can't.
would
No,
never
I
wear.
can't. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't
I'm not
imagine
gonna
that.
wear no
It's just like
Cowboys stuff.
I'm just imagining him and Jabari going to a bar together.
No, but yeah, love you, mom, but I can't cheer for the Cowboys. But I cheer for them before I cheer for the Aints. You know, I'd rather see the unthinkable happen with a star on my helmet than to ever have that darn. I don't even know what the world that is. Was that a leaf or something? I don't know what
It's
that
a
is.
star. I probably like Patrick Star. Put the
Yeah,
star.
but yeah, whatever it is, some stuff down there in the bayou that they didn't put on the helmet or something. But I never cheer for the Aints. But
But
we
you wouldn't mind going to New Orleans, though. I've told you got to go to New Orleans one time.
yeah, I want to go down there and check out some of that food. Get some of that food in my gut. Get my big stomach full. A couple times down there, have some hurricanes and stuff like that. I love to go down there. But you depending on me to cheer for the Aints. You got another thing coming. That ain't gonna ever happen.
Oh,
But
dude, some food tastes good right now. I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie. Some
get some
delicious
of that
gumbo.
gumbo.
I want to try their
Some of that
gumbo.
gumbo. Get some of them some of that
Farfetch
jambalaya,
etouffee.
that beignets, some of that stuff you was eating down there. But yeah. Atlanta, y'all gotta do better, man. Because for you to blow a huge lead like that, and the sad thing about it, we blew a lead like that before in the division. Remember that year, BRF for Michael Vick when he was still there. He started the season off 6-4. We ain't win but 2 games going down the stretch. I think that was his last year in Atlanta. So
Yeah, 06. Yeah.
06.
Yeah.
Ironically, that was my
03.
graduation year. But oh man.
Oh,
Atlanta, man, y'all gotta do something.
I remember one of that game. I remember that game in 06 between the Cowboys and the Falcons, though. When the Cowboys traveled to the Georgia Dome and they beat the Falcons, I think, in that game.
Yeah, and guess what? My mom let me know about that by wearing that Emmitt Smith jersey, mom. So thanks, mom, for that. Yeah, that Emmitt Smith jersey. I told you. But Atlanta, you gotta do some things, man. Cause it ain't looking good.
Atlanta.
Yeah, man, y'all looking dashed out here, man. No Magic City, no Waffle House, no Strokers, and no Follies. So
BRF.
It don't matter who they put at quarterback if they don't get Kyle Pitts the ball. You notice when they were winning games, Kyle Pitts was having the best stretch of his career. And
Not
now
to
that they're
mention the
not
running
getting
backs
them,
you had. Mentioned
but even still though, Kyle Pitts opened up everything because he controlled the middle of the field, and then that allowed Drake London to do his thing, Darnell Mooney to run routes. He opened up everything. So it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback if you're not getting the ball to Kyle Pitts to open everything else up. He was on the best stretch of his career when they was on that like 3-game winning streak when they opened that record up to 6-3. It was Kyle Pitts. He had like 26 catches, almost 300 yards in like a 3-game stretch. I mean, it was like a 3-4 game stretch. I mean, playing like some of the best ball of his career. And then now all of a sudden it's like we can't get him the ball. And he's not playing as well because he's not getting the ball. So it's play calling, it's execution. And here's the thing. With Kirk Cousins, he tries to force everything instead of living to see another down. He forces it, and then it's like eight picks to 0 turnovers his last 4 games. Like you're not gonna win like that because he forces everything because he can't run. And like in the game against Minnesota, the one time he decides to scramble, gets 11 yards and get a first down, and comes back for a holding call. The one time he decides to scramble. So it's really a combination of if they're gonna right the ship, if Raheem Morris is gonna be stubborn and continue to try to right the ship with Kirk Cousins, it's play calling and it's about Kirk Cousins understanding that sometimes you need to just live to see another down and quit trying to throw it and force it into double, triple coverage and throwing all these crazy picks and all that. Because Bijan Robinson is just, I don't care. He's a man among boys. I don't care what anybody says. Bijan is a man among boys. The fact that he's still been able to, the fact that he's been putting up the numbers, the way he's been doing and playing the way he's been playing this year. All in likely, probably going to make another Pro Bowl this year, and he should. And just playing his butt off. And like, it's like the formula that got him to 6-3 is like they've completely gone away from it. And it's really, for me, it's the Falcons are an offense that plays from inside out. And what I mean by that is running backs, tight ends, and then Drake London and Darnell Mooney being able to, kind of spread the field and kind of open everything up. The Falcons are an offense that goes from inside out. I mean, that's it's because it's like it's play because it's Bijan, it's Tyler Algier, it's being able to setting up play action to the outside, but then there's also Kyle Pitts being able to get the ball in between the hash marks, being able to control that, and then it's like you can't as a defense you can't bracket either one of the receivers. You're not about you can't cover. I mean, you can't. With Kyle Pitts, what you gonna do? Cover him with a linebacker? You can't do it because he's gonna run from him. So it's so many things that they've gone away from that they really need to get back to. And it doesn't matter who the quarterback is now. I'll say this. I think if I was Raheem Morris, I would have let Kurt. I would have had like a competition this week. I really would have considered it because y'all keep bragging about Michael Penix lighting it up in practice. And it's like, well, that's great. And that's good that he's getting better and he's doing well in practice. But your $180 million quarterback has gone from being a central lock for comeback player of the year to rumors of y'all talking about trading him before the 2025 season if he doesn't pick it up. And it's just crazy how a season can flip like that. But it's a combination of bad play calling and execution. And the craziest part about it, we found a pass rush. We've got 9 sacks in our last 2 games. We have found a pass rush. We have found a pass rush just for the offense, just for the passing offense to sputter the way they have because of Kirk Cousins throwing picks and Zach Robinson being completely like. And it's just so many things that was working well during that winning streak that's not working. So they really need to get back to the basics. And that's using both Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. Like I said, they both need to be getting double-digit carries to take pressure off each other to where a defense can't focus on one person at a time. And they're not being creative with their play calling. They're not opening it up. And teams are just figuring them out. They know what to do because they know Kirk Cousins isn't going to run. So I think it's just about really getting back to the basics with them and understanding that if you run this offense from the inside out, and I mean Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and Kyle Pitts opening it up for Drake London and Darnell Mooney, you might get back to winning some games because I tell you what, even though I could give 2 craps about the fans, about the Atlanta Falcons fans, because they are some of the most wishy-washy group of people I've ever seen in my life. And I've said that time and time and time again, and I will stand on that. Because I don't like debating with some of them because a lot of them don't know what the heck they want. But that's neither here nor there.
They're not worse than Cowboy fans. I can tell you that for a fact.
Well, here's the thing. They're on different parts of the spectrum. With Falcons fans, they're so used to losing. Their delusion comes from the idea of they think, well, if we get rid of this person or we trade this person, everything's going to get fixed, and it's not always that simple. Cowboys fans just think they're going to win it every year, and somebody just needs to humble them. They just think they're going to win the Super Bowl every year. I don't know where they get that belief from, but that's neither here nor there. We ain't going to talk. I don't even want to talk about them no more. So, but my thing is just they just need to get back to the basics. And if I'm the Falcons defense, the majority of them saw Desmond Ridder last year. They know how he operates. They know how he plays. They ought to come in there with a game plan of how to take him out of the game in the first half because they know he doesn't like. Even though he's a more mobile quarterback. They know he's horrible under pressure. They know he's horrible when you get him off his spots. Just you saw it last year. Just you know his strengths, you know his weaknesses. Attack him nonstop. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do with Desmond Ridder. You have the blueprint right there. You saw it for a year and some games. You saw the blueprint. You know he's not a good quarterback. So treat him like he's not a good quarterback. Because if Desmond Ridder goes off and has a week 2, if he goes off and has a 2023 week 2 Houston Texan like game against us, bro, that is like rock bottom. That is past rock bottom. That's like digging past the rocks, and that's not even a 6-foot grave. That's like a 12-foot grave. It's like don't even talk about just I'd pack it up. You lose to Desmond Ridder. Don't even worry about the playoffs anymore. You lose to Desmond Ridder.
I guarantee you right now, Champ will probably do a TikTok video saying, "What the hell going on in Miami, bro?" If
I guarantee you that is going to happen if that happens. If that happens, it's going to be some smoke in the city that night.
Bro, he should have did that when we went 6-6.
No,
he did something equivalent to that last week. As soon as they lost to the Vikings.
Yeah, I did the Bill.
Oh no, I saw the video. I saw the video. But the crazy thing about that game against Minnesota, it was 21-all going into the fourth quarter, and then a blown coverage and a fumble kickoff return, and then bam, next thing you know, it's 35-21. Like mistakes you weren't making early in the season, you're starting to make, and they're starting to pile up. Like I said, I would have really opened the competition up for Michael Penix instead of just saying, "Oh, Kirk Cousins is our guy." It's like, hey, now at this point, see what you got in him. You need to see what you got in him, because I was one that supported the idea of them signing Kirk Cousins and drafting Michael Penix from the standpoint of you didn't want that quarterback room you had last year. But if you're not going to play him, knowing that Kirk Cousins is struggling, if you're not going to play him, what was the point of drafting him? So you have to question the pick now, because this is why you drafted him. In the event that Kirk Cousins struggles this year, you have a backup plan. You have insurance. In the 8th overall pick of the draft, who has shown glimpses and flashes of being able to play at this level. So if I'm Raheem Morris, if I want to save my job, because I promise you, fans will want to call for his job if they don't make the playoff this year. Even though I think that would be crazy, because if we were patient enough to give Arthur Smith 3 years, we could kind of wait it out with Raheem. If we could give Arthur Smith 3 years, but if I'm Raheem, I wouldn't be stubborn if I was him. Like if Kirk Cousins comes out early, and he's been the same Kirk Cousins that he's been the last 4 weeks, I'm putting Michael Penix in. You can't hold out anymore. You can't hold out anymore, because I think what Michael Penix is going to bring you that Kirk Cousins can't. He does have an ability to move his feet, and he is more mobile than Kirk Cousins. He's going to give you something. So you have to consider it at this point. Now I will say this though, as bad as the Atlanta Falcons have been, I am going to pick them to beat Vegas. I mean, I'm going to pick them to beat Vegas, just because I feel like just hit the reset button and go back to what you were doing early in the season. Mm-hmm. But if they lose to Vegas, don't even worry about the playoffs if you lose to Vegas.
Shout out to my good friend John Ruffin. Used to go to school with him back in Mitchell College in New London, Connecticut. Shout out to him. He said, "My man, I'm in Bills territory, and they've been extraordinary this season." Hey, can't blame him. Josh Allen about to be the MVP. I mean, there's still a chance for other candidates, but hey, and again, to Champ's point, James Cook, run that football, especially with James Cook running the ball. But Harrison, what are your thoughts about Atlanta? Do they still have a chance of winning the division?
Yes, but at the same time, it's just like, stop choking things away. You guys been choking since 2016. It's time to stop. It's like that meme. It's time to stop. Because I wanted you guys to win this division. I really want you guys. You guys were like, nah, man. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I want to choke things away. God, it's just like, please stop choking things away. Because you had it in your hands. You literally had it in your hands. You were 6-3, and then Kirk Cousins is turning over the ball like Tua. What is, like, when the season's over, you don't make the playoffs, what is going to be your excuse? Because I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. You had no excuses this year. And it's looking like you guys are going to have some big excuses after this year if you don't make the playoffs.
No, it's really no excuse.
No, it ain't no excuses.
Really no excuse.
I'm not saying you guys, but there's going to be some Falcons fans saying, like, what's going to be excuse?
I mean, you can't make any. I mean, they can reach as far as they can reach into their Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four, and they stretch their arm out like Michael Jordan Space Jam. You can reach for an excuse all you want to, but don't make the playoffs. There's no excuse. So
there is no excuse. You had everything lined up. If you had everything, I mean, the one thing we said, we were adequate quarterback play away from making the playoffs the last 2 years. You go and get Kirk Cousins. He's been crap the last 4 games. If you don't make the playoffs, there are no excuses. There are none. And like Champ said, they could do the super Mr. Fantastic reach all they want. They ain't gonna find nothing but air and opportunity because there's no excuses.
And that sounds crazy to say this, but I feel like we might beat you guys in Atlanta. I'm going to say this right now. I mean, we always split you guys every what? Probably since 20.
That's not really surprising, Harrison, because again, Carolina, no one thought that Carolina would beat Atlanta last year at Carolina, but they did.
That game was freaking awful. That was like a baseball game. It was like, no, it's a 9-7. Ain't Desmond can't even pass guys when feeding fried beans. All right. I mean, that's all. Listen, that's all I'm gonna say before I'm done. I think don't choke this. You can't choke this away. You can't choke this.
All right, fellas, let's get into some NFL picks before we move on to some entertainment.
Woohoo!
NFL picks. Commanders at Saints. The Commanders are 7.5-point favorite. I'm gonna go with a conservative route, and I'm going with the Saints. Even if the Commanders are, I told you, reverse psychology. Last time I picked the Commanders to beat the Cowboys, y'all know what happened. Do I have to remind folks what I did post game when I threw away the helmet outside my house?
You're playing the Aints.
I do not trust Cliff Kingsbury.
You're playing the Aints.
Yes.
You're playing the Aints.
The Titans are better.
You want me to drink?
The Titans are a better team than the Saints, and y'all put 42 on them.
I mean, yeah. So I mean,
yeah, you guys put PTA on Tennessee last week. Oh my god.
I'm picking the Saints because I told you I have no faith in Cliff Kingsbury in the second half of the season. I have concerns about our run defense, and I hope that Jaden Daniels gets through the season. Let me state this for the record, Commanders fans, because y'all took it the wrong way. Because when Commanders, when they were rolling, when they were at the top of the NFC East, I got a lot of backlash by Commanders fans. How are you feeling about this team right now? Because before the win against Tennessee, we lost 3 consecutive games. 2 of them are going to be Super Bowl contenders, Philly and Pittsburgh. You lost to the Dallas Cowboys. With all the injuries, all the mess, you were the favorites in that game. One of the worst special team performances I ever witnessed in my life. And you lost. So Washington, you're at New Orleans. I understand New Orleans is not New Orleans of before. But again, I'm picking the Saints because in the words of my favorite wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin, DTA. Don't trust anybody. I trusted you to beat the Cowboys. What the hell makes you think I'm going to trust the Aints? I don't care if the Aints are the Aints. Rudy Tomjanovich, never underestimate the art of a champion. And if they lose to the Saints, I damn sure going to have a lot to say.
Okay.
I think the rest of the board is unanimous. We're not cheering for the Aints.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
You just don't want to. You just don't want to wear the Saints outfit. We all know you don't want to wear the helmet. You don't want to wear the jersey. We all know you, champ. You Atlanta forever.
I feel the same way.
All right.
But I mean, well, I'll just say something real quick. For me, they ain't got nothing to do with it. I mean, the Saints' pass defense is just god awful.
Exactly.
And also, Marshawn Lattimore's coming back, so I mean that's a good sign for Washington.
And that's gonna. That is against his old team.
Y'all getting Marshawn Lattimore back in the revenge game against the Saints, bro? Yeah.
Bro, listen, let PS listen. I did PSP. Remember, I picked the Giants to win, and guess what? The Panthers won. So reverse psychology always works. And also, hold up. By the way, remember I said the Panthers were going to beat the Chiefs 30-27 on a game-winning field goal?
Yeah.
Remember I said that? I did this. Man, I was right, but it's the complete opposite. Man, I really hate this game. All right, my fault. Continue.
No, it's all good, man. I think this will be unanimous, although it will be a little bit closer than I think. Chiefs at Browns.
Bro, the board is unanimous. Your Honor.
The board is unanimous.
Yeah.
You don't trust Jameis? Oh wait, you don't trust Jameis. Wait, we already know that.
What is this? I forgot one of his quotes when he said on Thursday Night Football when they won. What? The snow comes by the Lord or something?
All right, next game. Dolphins at Texans. Houston is a 3-point favorite.
The Texans.
I flip a coin. I pick Texans. I think, but don't be surprised if Miami wins this game because I don't know, bro. But it's at home. CJ Stroud needs a game. Yeah, I know he's in a sophomore slump, but it's time. It's time for CJ Stroud to have himself a big game.
I got Miami.
Houston should win. Houston should win this game. But Miami's offense was starting to find themselves. Yeah, they're starting to click because with Tua back on the center, they're starting to click again. But that being said, Houston should win this game.
And shout out to Jonnu Smith, man. He's been doing pretty good so far.
All right. Next game, obviously unanimous. Ravens at Giants. And Baltimore 16-point favorite.
Listen, no one phenomenal. Hey, listen, Tommy Cutlers. But board is unanimous, bro. Board is unanimous.
Okay. All right, this one right here. Oh my God. Jets at Jaguars.
Oh.
Hey. PSP, do you have any toilet paper or something, my G? Because that game is awful, bro.
Ask Chan. He brought in the Charmin last week.
No, we switched to Angel Soft this week, so we switched.
There you go.
You guys go. I'll go last.
Wow.
I know, right?
It's one of those things where I don't know. Look, I will. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied over here, man. But both of these teams are just horrible,
trash.
And I'll put my faith into the Jets this week, just because off the strength that I just watched the New York Sack Exchange documentary. I'll put my faith in the Jets this week. If you don't win this game, go New York. Woo, boy, you talking about I will have some jokes.
This is a trash game. That for me, it's like which woman I'm gonna roll with, Snooki or Sexy Red. Which one of them two?
I mean, you might want to shake your. No, man. All right, let me stop talking on myself.
Boy, what?
Man, what was wrong with Snooki? To be honest with you, she was a little short little thing.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
No, okay. I'm not going to go with Sexy Red. That's bad. Yeah.
Oh gosh. I'm picking the Jets by default. I'm picking.
Okay.
I'm picking the Jet. I'm picking the Jets. I'm picking the Jets by default. I mean, come on. I mean, look. Regardless of how old he's looked this year, I mean, it's still Aaron Rodgers against Mac Jones. I mean, I'm picking the Jets by default.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers surprisingly had a good game last week against the Dolphins. I think over 300 yards with like 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think.
He
Somewhere like
played
that.
well in that game, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Surprisingly, it wasn't enough. All right, my turn. I'm picking Jacksonville. I'm sick and tired picking the Jets. Every single time I pick the Jets, they freaking lose. And it's honestly getting really frustrating. I've been talking smack about Rodgers how many times? A lot. You know how many times I've been talking about their ownership? A lot. And you know what? I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm picking Jacksonville. Mac Jones, Brian Thomas Jr. Oh my goodness gracious. I was just sick and tired picking the Jets. So give me Jacksonville. Low scoring. I don't know, man. 19-10.
All right. I got the Jets in this one. They should win this one. I don't know. Listen, I live in New Jersey. Jets, if y'all lose this game, man, I don't know. I mean, you're already out of playoff contention anyway, so it's already over. But
And also hold up, PSP. Shout out to one of my 2 favorite people on TikTok, by the way, Abs and Brianna, because I know they are in deep crap right now, and I feel bad. I wish I can give them a hug right now because it is awful.
you don't have to give them prayer. You don't have to give them something.
They need some water and some prayers right now, and they need Jesus on their side.
All right, Harrison. I'm gonna let you go on this one. You go first. Cowboys at Panthers.
Cowboys at Carolina. Ooh, man.
And by the way, ironically, the Panthers are a 3-point favorite.
Surprise for the first time since 2022. I was literally unbelievable. No words. Just you know what? PSP, like you say, my boy, reverse psychology always works. I'm picking the Cowboys to win this game. I know this is gonna be a crappy game. This could be a blowout, or could be like a shootout. Because our running defense is freaking awful. Our passing defense is okay, but like our running defense is gonna be awful. I think Dalvin's gonna have himself a field day. Chuba Hubbard's gonna have himself a field day. I'm hoping JC Horn plays because he needs to lock down CD Lamb, because I am terrified of that dude. I am honestly terrified about that dude. And also, I'll say Cowboys win 31-28.
BRF?
Say the Panthers win 31-28. I mean, Bryce Young has just flipped his entire career around, and I'm happy for him. And also, like all of that.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead real quick. Go ahead real quick, Harrison. No, I'll finish.
Can we please stop with the hate on Bryce? Like, can we please stop it? Because it's honestly getting annoying every single week. I mean, because PSP, you know this. I've been hearing from Kieran, been hearing from Louise. Like, I don't know what the Bryce needs to do. Because someone's telling me he has a lower arm, like a mid thrower or something like that. Like, what do you mean by that, Chief? Like, bro, I think Bryce Young. Did you not see on the 2-yard line against Philadelphia? Bryce Young throws a bullet with the dude that's literally tearing one of his sleeve arms, and throws a dot to Xavier Legette at the 2. He almost had a 98-yard game-winning drive against the freaking Eagles. We would have won that game if XL should have caught that ball. But I'm sick. Listen, I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of the Bryce Young game. All right, go ahead, BRF. My apologies.
You also have to understand the Bryce Young hate is warranted, because up until he turned his career around, he was not very good. So the Bryce Young hate was warranted. But he's showing a lot of traits that he was showing coming out of college, which made him the number 1 overall pick. Like he's He's showing the accuracy. He's showing the mobility. He's showing the fact that he has a stronger than average arm. Like he's showing a lot of these attributes that he showed at Alabama. Because quite frankly, he needed to sat on a little bit and get his head on straight. And now look at him. He looks like one of the most improved players in the National Football League. And shout out to him. Like
Hey, shout out to Dave Canales right now because he turned a lot of quarterbacks around.
Exactly. That offense has been clicking with Bryce and Xavier Legette and Chuba Hubbard, who they did the right thing of locking down. They needed to give him a new contract. They absolutely did that because he's been a godsend at running back for that team. And not only that, with Jatavian Sanders, like he's showing himself to be a damn good tight end. So the Panthers have went from being like barren on the offensive side of the ball to now with the quarterback starting with the quarterback, with the quarterback starting to click.
And BRF, you know what's crazy? And BRF, it's watchable. It's really watchable.
They are watchable offense right now. So you got to give props. I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna say 31-28 Panthers, man. I think the Panthers get the Cowboys.
Champ.
North Carolina, take your shirt off.
Sorry, Harrison. This one's for you, Ma. I'm going with the Cowboys.
Wow, North Carolina, take your shirt off.
Not this
Nothing.
time, Mom.
He only did that because he didn't want to see the Saints win. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, man. Look, I want to see my mama smile before Christmas, and her Cowboys win will make mama smile. So, Cowboys don't let my mama down, man. Come on, do something. I mean,
you don't want to see me smile. You don't want to see my mama smile when the Panthers win.
I mean, come on, man. Don't do
come on, man.
Don't play the ball.
She gonna see you for cribbing, man. She gonna see you for cribbing, man. That's gonna be enough to put a smile on her face. The Cowboy can eat this L Sunday.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Mama Champ told. Remember, we talked about Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, the hallelujah part. That's the thing that will tick her off.
Yeah, but want to see her smile on right before Christmas. So I'm hoping that they at least get some done. But real quick, one thing that we got to learn to Harris's point on Bryce Young. Look, every quarterback is not going to be Peyton Manning and Dan Marino or C.J. Stroud or guys like that coming into the league.
Correct.
Have some freaking patience. He just came in. You knew he didn't have an offensive line or defense when he got there. It was just him and everything else. So have patience when it comes to Bryce. He's doing good. Plus, outside of him losing his job the first time, I think there was a lot of which we won't get into on this show, by the way. There was a lot of other distractions that was going on with him as well. So, you got to take into considerations. It ain't. Hey, you might being in the NFL is just like any other job. When everything around you is being affected, your job is going to be affected, and the way you perform is going to be affected. So, I mean, I think it was some things outside of football as well that was contributed to.
And also, by the way, did you guys saw the St. Brown St. Brown podcast? He was with Xavier. They had Xavier Legette.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, that he was eating some raccoon for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, raccoon pretty good, man. Don't sleep on raccoon, man.
I never had a raccoon. PSP, do you have any raccoon, bro?
No.
BRF?
Champ and BRF would know they down south.
Nah, that don't mean we south. We ain't country like that now.
I had some before. It ain't bad. I mean, it's gamey. It ain't that bad. As long as you don't a raccoon, some rabbit, depending on what you bring. As long as you don't bring no pop. As long as you don't bring no pop to the table, you good.
I've had deer. That's like the extent of my animal eating like that. I've had deer. That's about it.
I have deer jerky, but not like deer meat whatsoever. All right, continue, PSP.
That's all good. Bengals at Titans. Bengals are a 5.5-point favorite.
Boys unanimous.
Jamar. he might go for 200 yards this game. The way they've been playing, he might go for 200 yards.
Is the board unanimous, Your Honor?
So I think the Bengals, man. I just hate that he's losing right now. Him and Joe Burrow. And, yeah, but
well, you did say if Joe Burrow loses both of them, trade me.
Hey, I don't, and I will stand on, and I don't like to say this term because everybody be saying I'm gonna stand on business when I say that, because the thing is, if you lose T. Higgins, I've already lost Tyler Boyd to the Tennessee Titans. Now I'm more than likely going to lose T. Higgins as well in the offseason, depending on where he goes. And I lose Jamar Chase as well. Oh yeah, you about to trade me tomorrow. I don't care. I don't care if you get an Atari 300 for me.
DRF.
Yeah, I think the Tennessee Titans defense is like the underrated aspect of that team. They play defense well, but the Cincinnati Bengals are like to be 5-8, to have like a matchup proof offense the way they bring it to the table right now. You got the emergence of Chase Brown, who we're not talking enough about. Chase Brown has been doing it as a running back, but Jamar Chase, man, he's that guy. I look, Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the league. Don't get it twisted, but Jamar Chase is that guy. He is that guy. And if I'm the Bengals, I'm doing everything in my power to keep both of them. Whether it's give T Higgins some money, I don't know what they got. They need to keep them both. They need to find a way to keep them both. I don't think they're gonna be able to. They need to find a way. But with that being said, I got Cincinnati winning this game. I think this is going to be. I feel like this is a T Higgins kind of game for me. I got Cincinnati.
Harrison?
I got Bengals.
All right, fellas, let's just try to speed up with these picks. Colts at Broncos. Broncos are a 5-point favorite.
Broncos.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Broncos.
Anthony Richardson is going to have a hard time in that game.
Yeah, it's in Denver, so I don't trust them.
Patriots at Cardinals. Cardinals are a 6-point favorite. They're coming off a tough loss, embarrassing one to the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm picking Arizona, but don't be surprised if the Patriots win this game.
Drake Mays lately, he's been tearing it up. He's been playing actually well, man.
Exactly. That's why I don't be surprised if Drake May's gonna have himself a field day.
DRF and Champ.
Arizona.
DRF.
Arizona, but New England covers the point spread.
All right, guys. Like I said, we gotta keep this real quick because we gotta move on to entertainment. But these picks here: Buffalo at Detroit, and Detroit is a 2.5-point favorite.
Oh God, the game. In my opinion, this is the game of the year in the National Football League. This is the game of the year right here.
Detroit wants that redemption because the last time they played them, they lost on Thanksgiving. Yes, sir.
I think this is one of those games you pick the home team. If Buffalo had the home field advantage, I'd pick Buffalo. This game's in Detroit. I'm picking Detroit.
Yeah, if they were playing in the cold weather in Buffalo with the snow, it's going to be tough for Detroit to win that one.
Mm-hmm.
Champ?
Give me the Buffalo Bills.
Why's that?
I think Josh Allen has another huge game, and they're getting more and more depleted on that defensive side of the ball, that being Detroit. They're getting more and more depleted. Now, granted, Zadarius Smith has had some pretty good games. He's had 4 sacks in the last 5 games, and he's paying dividends after that trade. But they're getting progressively depleted. So, give me Buffalo, and I don't think they can contain. I don't think they're going to be able to. They are going to be able to contain Josh Allen. But
all right, Harrison.
Man, met the legend, world champ. undisputed world champ. I'm picking you. I'm with you. I'm going with Buffalo. Highest. This is going to be a. It's going to be pew pew pew, like high scoring affair. This is going to be like putting the over on this one. This is going to be like the combination of 80 something points. I'll probably say 44-40. That's what I'm saying right now. This is going to be a shootout.
I have Detroit because I think this is the type of game Jared Goff is going to stand out. I think he's going to put on a show. Probably as close to what we saw from him. Remember Monday night against the Kansas City Chiefs? Arguably the greatest Monday night football game, one of the greatest regular season performances that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
He was with the Rams.
But Jared Goff now with Ben Johnson and Broad is going. Broad mentioned it with the play calling, the play action. Shout out to Broad. I think Jared Goff is going to go off, and how are the Bills going to handle the dynamic duo that you've often mentioned, BRF? With
Sonic and Knuckles, baby. Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles. But I think also this is a game like this. This is a Ben Johnson type of game. A big game like this. This is a Ben Johnson type of game. He's gonna throw. I think he's gonna throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at Buffalo offensively.
That's why I have Detroit win this one, because I think Jared Goff is going to go off. Sonic and Knuckles, they may not have the spectacular type of performance, but still good enough. I think Josh Allen's going to put up a great performance. But I think when it comes down to the wire, I would not be surprised at all Jared Goff gets the job done. So I have Detroit 40, Buffalo 38. It's going to be some points in that game. Another interesting one. Tampa at Los Angeles Chargers. I got the Chargers in this one because of their defense. And Baker Mayfield has been playing well this season, but he struggled with them turnovers against the Raiders. I think the Chargers defense is going to go after him. But Baker, if he pulls this off, this could be big. And this will keep the Buccaneers playoff hopes alive, especially in that division.
Yes, it will.
So they need to win this one. But I don't trust Tampa's defense. That's been the big key with Tampa. So if their defense can step up, now Mike Evans is back. Tampa should win, but I got the Chargers. Who y'all got?
Los Angeles. Los Angeles.
I got Tampa Bay. I just the way that Baker's been playing is just freaking unbelievable right now. And also Bucky Irving, and also McMillan too. McMillan kind of played really well, replacing Chris Godwin. But yeah, the one thing about it is the defense. But I think their defense is going to be fine. But give me Tampa Bay.
BRF.
I'm gonna take it. I want to pick Tampa, but at the same time, I'm looking at the Chargers defense. I'm gonna go Chargers because I feel like they got some. I think they got some plans for Baker in terms of how they scheme and like blitzes and everything they're gonna throw at him. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Chargers.
Yeah, they're gonna go after Baker, and especially with the blitz. And Baker is mobile enough though, but he's gonna have a hard time dealing with that defense. Another good one. Steelers at Eagles. And Philly's a 5.5-point favorite.
Let's see.
Sorry, Kieran. Broad, holla at your boy. Philadelphia.
I'm taking Philly. They haven't won since probably 1942. Was it 1942? I was not even born. It's been.
Pittsburgh's not going to have George Pickens this game either. So yeah, I'm going Philly.
Yeah, after they won against the Panthers, there's been a lot of controversies about giving me the ball, like AJ Brown for an example, because he barely got catches
That's why I
whatsoever.
mentioned. That's why I mentioned in the message chat on Champs Podcast, and please go check out Champs Podcast every Saturday nights. And we all know he's going to do a great show, like he normally does with Flash and BRF. I mentioned in the message chat the Steelers. They have a history with these types of situations at the wide receiver spot. AB, Claypool,
Mm-hmm.
Juju. So coincidence or I don't know, but this is a reoccurring thing, and has happened under Mike Tomlin's watch.
I mean, not only that, they had trouble. I don't know what it is about Pittsburgh and wide receivers because once they leave, they never the same. I mean, even before Mike Tomlin, remember the Yancey Thigpen, he left and went to Tennessee. He was never the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, remember Antoine Randall, he left. I mean, Plexico, he left. I mean, there was a lot of receivers that left. I mean, Santonio Holmes, he left. But the thing about the Steelers receivers, you know what? We might lose you, but we ain't gonna miss you.
We'll tolerate you till we replace you.
Yeah, but we ain't gonna miss you because the thing is, hey, lo and behold, we'll replace you tomorrow.
Hey,
And
do you remember Mike Tomlin's press conference when the reporter asked him about Antonio Brown and how he walked away just like that?
yeah, he played.
Boy,
He said,
he looked at him and left. He didn't say one word.
Mm-hmm. There you
yeah,
go.
like, all right.
BRF.
Yeah, no, but yeah, no. George Pickens for Pittsburgh makes it easier for me to pick Philly, and I think they correct that whole thing with AJ Brown. I think it gets fed early and often. I got Philly.
Packers at Seahawks.
Go Pack, go.
Mm.
And Green Bay is a 2.5-point favorite. And remember, Jair Alexander will be out in that game because of a knee injury. Romeo Dobbs has been cleared, though.
Okay. Upset alert. I'm picking Seattle. Charbonnet. I think Charbonnet's gonna have himself a field day.
I don't think it's that much of an upset if Seattle beats Green Bay. To be honest with you, because like I said, man, since the midway point of the season, Seattle defense been balling. They have been balling. And Jair Alexander being out, that just opened the door for DK and JSN to pop off. I don't know, man. I'm taking Seattle here.
Green Bay still has a chance. Because like you mentioned, BRF, they're good at getting the ball back on defense. They're
Very
really
true,
good.
though.
And on top of that, with Josh Jacobs running the football, but I'm gonna go with Seattle. It's not shocking to me that I would pick Seattle in this one. Gino, just take care of the football. Just be smart, man. Just be smart in this game.
PSP, you're making me hungry right now. What are you eating, my G?
The chicken and cheese sandwich. That's all
Oh,
I'm at. Well,
that's
there
a
was nothing.
different.
There was nothing in the house, so I had to order a chicken and cheese sandwich. Either that, or I ordered something from 7-Eleven. I didn't want to do that.
Well, that tastes so good right now. Sorry.
Bears at Vikings.
Vikings.
The board is unanimous, Your Honor.
Vikings.
And last but not least, Falcons at Raiders.
Forever, I live in Atlanta.
Pick the Falcons.
If the Falcons lose, I'm gonna cry, laughing in tears.
I better see Champs TikTok or IG because when they lose,
What the
he's
hell
going to do a
going
video.
Miami, bro?
Hey, you'll see it.
All right, fellas, let's get into some entertainment.
Mr. PSP, I am going to bed. I am tired right now. I've been trying to keep my eyes awake. I was just waiting for the predictions. PSP, I'm just the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Undisputed World Champ. BRF, it's been an honor. I'll see you guys next week. I'm
Next
out.
week, man. Take it easy, Harrison. Appreciate you, man.
Salutations.
Got a comment from my man Jack Flowers. Shout out to Jack. All right, fellas, entertainment. We'll get into the music in just a second, but for wrestling, BRF goes first.
Okay.
Favorite Daniel Bryan moment.
Wow. It doesn't have to be WWE, does it?
It could be anything.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll just say this: the one with WWE that always kind of, I have a few. But like the one, like there's the moment where he was feuding against Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, and they got him to join for a little while, and then they had that, and then I think they had that tag team cage match with the Usos, and then just seeing that fan reaction when Daniel Bryan finally beat up Bray Wyatt, and just that crowd reaction, like everybody doing the yeses. It was like that whole yes movement angle with Daniel Bryan was some of the greatest cinema I've ever seen in wrestling. Ultimately culminating in him winning the world heavyweight title at WrestleMania. That celebration was just, honestly, that WrestleMania 30, like from a storyline perspective with Daniel Bryan, is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. The match against Triple H itself was really good,
Mm-hmm.
and then the post match beatdown, only for him to go out and win the world championship against Randy Orton and Batista of all people, to go out and win it. I mean, that's just like, that's cinema. Very few stories have been told better than the entire Daniel Bryan yes movement. I mean, it went from SummerSlam where Randy Orton cashed in on him all the way up to that. I mean, it was just one of the greatest things I've ever seen. But to be quite honest with you, my favorite Daniel Bryan moment is, okay, it's not a Daniel Bryan moment. It's a Bryan Danielson moment. AEW All In, the match with Swerve, where he finally won the AEW World Championship, and seeing him celebrate with his family. Like, I mean, the dude's in a situation where it's like, if I don't win, I'm done as a full-time competitor. And to be able to pull out that match with Swerve, I mean, and it wasn't just the fact that he won. He established. I love the fact that not only did he win, but he established Swerve Strickland and kind of put him on a pedestal as like one of the new, one of the new artilleries, like the new guns of the professional wrestling business. And that whole match was just awesome to me. And just, I feel like, in my opinion, I think Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, I think he's the greatest technical wrestler professional wrestling's ever seen. That's just my opinion. But I just think he's the greatest technical wrestler this business has ever seen, because he just does everything crisp, and he's like systematic with it. He's like a surgeon with it when he's in the ring, and he's, when I watch him wrestle, it's like I can't take my eyes off the screen when I watch him wrestle, because I know I'm gonna get a really good match out of him. And then it's like he got the AEW and just stepped his game up even more, and just so many good things. I mean, I don't think you really say a bad thing about him, and not even just that, the entertainment stuff, like the stuff he did with Kane, it's like some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen.
The
Like
no.
the team hell no stuff. It's like some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. Like the whole, like the one skit where they did the when Harry met Sally skit. It's like one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, just the dude is just so multifaceted and just talented. Like, he can do comedy. He's obviously one of the greatest wrestlers ever. I mean, the dude just does it all. But I think, yeah, I would say the two moments that stand out for me was him winning the world championship at WrestleMania 30 and that celebration. Well, WrestleMania 30 as a whole, both matches. And then AEW All In when he won the world championship against Swerve. Just, those are the two that stand out, because I feel like in pressure big match situations, very few could come through like Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan. Like I said, he's the greatest technical wrestler I've ever seen. So those are the two moments that stand out for me.
Champ.
Oh man. And they had to hug it out on Taboo Tuesday. That was a when him and Kane had to hug it out on Taboo Tuesday. Some of those vignettes between him and Kane and Team Hell No, they were going to counseling and then eating at the diner. That was your theater right there, man. One of the most funniest thing when everybody started calling him Goat Face. I'm not a goat face. So everybody started calling him Goat Face after the kiss of death, which that was crazy. One of the biggest moments I don't think people talk about is, when Bret Hart and Team WWE chose him as their partner. I don't think that gets talked about enough. It was
yeah.
that was a huge surprise to everybody. Not to mention, man, him winning the title. That's amazing because quiet as it's kept, Daniel Bryan is not, by wrestling standards, I will say, he's not the biggest guy in the room. So for him to be as technically sound as he is amazing, and his ring presence is nothing short of amazing. I wish that we got a chance to see a lot of dream matches with him, but him being as technically sound as he is. And one dream match I wish we could have saw is him and Bret Hart, him and Kurt Angle in their prime, and him and another wrestler who's no longer with us. But you all know who I'm talking about because he uses his finishing move. But we can't say his name right now, but God bless him. But those three matches I think would have been
Don't
great.
forget Shawn Michaels.
And Shawn Michaels. And I will say the great Eddie Guerrero as well. Those are three matches. Those are 5 matches that I wish I could have seen Daniel Bryan in. But I will say, man, look, I'm gonna limit it today. Usually I go into a big old story, but I gotta say when he was in Team Hell No, not to mention what happened after the kiss of death. After the kiss of death at WrestleMania when he lost the World Heavyweight title in less than like 15 seconds. And that downward spiral was just epic. That downward spiral was just epic. It was crazy.
Oh man, him going up against the Authority. Him going up against the Authority in WrestleMania 30. I mean, 10 years till that iconic match of course, the late wrestler, can't say his name, with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And then 10 years ago, champ, from 2004 to 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And with Daniel Bryan, of course, the Yes Movement, when he got everyone there in the Yes ring, because he wasn't allowing the Authority to keep him out of the main event. He wanted to be that guy. So I gotta give him that. But y'all stole my thunder because I was gonna mention him and Kane with the hell no part, especially the diners situation. So that's a good one. And also for next week's show on the Sports PSP pod, for favorite wrestling moment, we will do one on. We're gonna do it with a female this time. Trish Stratus.
That's good. I like that.
I like that too.
In my case, obvious reasons. With obvious reasons, y'all know exactly what I'm referring to with obvious reasons. I'll just say, her, Rock, Rikishi, Vitz. That's all I'm gonna leave it on it. Next one, last but not least, favorite Nas track. I'm gonna go first. Although he's in this track, Hate Me Now. That is a track that I listen to when you're going through bleep. That's the track that I'm gonna be listening to, especially with the beat, Nas with his delivery, the rhymes. Of course, can we forget Ether? We certainly cannot forget Ether after the way Jay-Z got on him with Takeover. And with Ether, whew, especially the one part in which he said about Biggie and Jay-Z's lips. That was the thing that also kind of chilled me when I'm sorry, BRF, but hey, I mean, that part when he mentioned Jay-Z's lips, that was straight fire. On the
you think women want to get with you because of your lips? Negro, please.
Yeah. And One mic. One mic. I love that track. Thank God for not only Rap City but also 106 in Park, because I used to listen to that song back in the day. Shout out to them shows, man. Oh man, my brothers and I, we talked about Nas. I mean, because again, we live in the East Coast area, but Jay-Z, Nas, whoever rapper you want to discuss, man, that was it. Champ, favorite Nas track.
Whoo, man. Look, man, Nas. One of the first CDs I got when I was finally making my own money, working on the farm up there in Talbot County. One of the first CDs I bought was Nostradamus. So I gotta say Nostradamus, the self-titled song, man. Nostradamus was it's a very, very slept on album, man, because it's outside of the Nas type thing. You know, we usually see Nas as, you know, a little bit more conscious, a little bit more. I hate to use this word because it's been so twisted all over social media, but a little bit more woke. I was saying, not in a bad way, but that was something outside of the Nas spectrum that we was used to seeing. And I think
more flashy.
Yeah, a little bit more flashy, and I think that's why it was so slept on, because we're so used to seeing like the more conscious version of Nas rather than the flashy version. But that album was a good album, man. You had that one was great. That was good. New World, that was good. You Owe Me with Genuine.
Yeah.
that one was good, man, because people can talk about that album all they want to, but I love that song. For Genuine to come in to be as hot as he was during that time was nothing short of the Thief's theme.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it might they won't act right. Look, the funny thing about that Jay-Z, the whole Jay-Z and Nas situation is this. That was the freestyle that he made over the Eric B and Rakim beat. That song, that freestyle was just as good as Ether was. So if you ever get a chance to go back and listen to that, go back and listen to it. Because he talks about the whole Rockefeller clique in like 15 seconds in like less than like 3 bars. Let me see, man. Who can forget about the song that he made famous with AZ, with not Jay-Z, AZ, Life's a, and then that's why because you never know where you're gonna go. That was
Did you also listen to that 10-year track? The 10-year anniversary?
Yes. So that one was great. And hey, man, look, those guys, when you talk about a dynamic duo, him and AZ, that is classic, because not only did they snap on Life So You Know What, but they also snapped on We the Flyest Gangster on Stillmatic. And oh, look, before we forget, let's not forget about the super group that he made with The Firm. You know, Phone was real good, man. You know, you had, well, that was a star-studded group, man. You had Nas, AZ, Nature, and Foxy Brown. It's hard to this day. It's hard to believe that album flopped because it was produced by Dre and Trackmasters. I mean, because the whole project was good, but I don't know what happened, man. But that was a great CD. If you want me to be honest with you, I don't know how in God's name that album flopped, but that was a good album. Oh man, Nas, look, I know he slept on because he is, a lot of his. We want to hear club a lot of times these days. We want to hear club bangers and stuff like that, and that's so outside of Nas at a certain point. But I will say this, man, Nas has some definite classics, man. I mean, and not only that, man, you got to pick one of the greatest songs he made of all time. We will walk right up to the sun, hand in hand.
The great Lauryn Hill.
Yes, man,
the world.
Imagine that. I free all the sun. And not only that, man, look, one of his songs that I hold near and dear and close to the chest is One Love. Because like I said, people always think because certain rappers are from certain backgrounds, but that is all that the song is about. But the thing is, you know, he started off the song, "What up, kid? I know stuff is rough doing your bid." Doing a bid doesn't necessarily mean you're behind bars. Not every prison, I say this all the time to a lot of people who I hang out with. Not every prison has bars. Prison can be in your mind because depression and things like that is real. So, you know, that's the first thing he said. When the cops came, I should have slid to your crib. But it was just like, you know, it says a story about betrayal and a lot of things. You know, it's crazy, you know. But One Love, the whole I'll say the whole Illmatic album. Because you just can't help but mention when you think about Nas, the first thing you think about is Illmatic. But you know, imagine that, you know, You Owe Me. Oh man, look. Hey, sleep on Nas all you want, man. But hey, he beat one of the greatest of all time, and nobody ever tested his mic skills ever again. So
Don't forget Major Look.
yes.
You can't forget that one.
Yes. Oh man. We call you the New Jersey Mastermind for a reason. But yes, man, that was one of Nas's hardest beats ever because it came in with the pew pew. And it was just like, and then I was like, oh man. And I mean, man, that amazing, man.
Like Pun said, you ain't even me classa.
Yeah. Nas, like I said, Nas, we all know he's an all-time great. One of the most slept on, though, because like I said, and he was one of the most slept on throughout a lot of eras because we were so used to club bangers and different type of flashy tracks. But but that's unfortunate. But Nas is an all-time great, man. All-time great.
BRF.
Whew, man. Nas. Good Lord. I got a lot. I gotta start from the top on this one. We talking about Nas. Good Lord. Yeah, I mean, Champ brought up Nostradamus. I love that song. If I Ruled the World, what good Lord. Just a Moment, One Mic, the song he did with Kerry Hilson, Hero, underrated track. Come on, man. We can't talk about club bangers and not talk about Uchiwali now. Come on now. We can't talk about club bangers and not talk about that one. We can't do it. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, hate me now is like one of those like hate me now is like one of those for me that's like a good like that's like a motivation track. That's like one of those like when people speak down on you thinking you ain't gonna do something, and then you just hit that, and it just kind of gives you energy and it gives you life and it just pumps you up.
That's the type of song that you listen to, and especially when you're going through hell.
Exactly. That's something to give you life back and get you pumped and get you going.
And also jealousy too, because again, jealousy. Because I think with Nas, what made me now, the reason why he did that track, I think because people got tired of seeing the new Nas with all the ice and the rapping, the money and all that stuff. So it's like, wait a minute, you gonna hate on me because of all the things that I have and I work for this? So now let me put pen to paper and let me write the song "Hate Me Now." And to those who hate me because of the ice, the jewelry that I have, bleep you.
Exactly. You couldn't have said that. You couldn't have said that any better. What else we got? So it's more.
You Won't See Me Tonight.
I got one. Here's one. Quick to Back Down. Quick to back. That was like quick. That was like at a time where like the harder like the crunk genre was really kind of starting to evolve, and Nas kind of dipped his toe in it a little bit with that song. And that song, and just like that song, that's Quick to Back Down. That song was just so fire.
What about The World Is Yours?
Yes, yes. I mean, look, early Nas is like some of his best work, and a lot of people don't know the story about that song, "The World Is Yours," because if I'm not mistaken, that's the one he sampled "Human Nature" on, ain't it, with Michael Jackson?
No, that was It Ain't Hard to Tell.
Right.
That's right. It ain't hard to tell. No, yeah, okay. Speaking of another song, I like. It Ain't Hard to Tell, and a lot of people don't know the story to that song. Michael Jackson would only let him sample that song if he didn't curse on it. And then he just destroyed the entire beat and did not curse one time on that song. That's just the legend Nas is when it comes to just mic work. The dude is insane. He's one of the, in my opinion, I think he's one of the 5 greatest lyricists in the history of hip hop, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think he's one of the 5 greatest lyricists ever. And just he's pinpoint with it. He knows what to say it, how to articulate it, and you gonna understand it when it come out of his mouth. And that's just one of the things that make Nas who he is. But yeah, I got a Nas playlist about like 3 miles long. I've always been a fan of his.
Also, a very underrated track from Nas, very emotional one. Although I can't relate, I know you can. BRF, Daughters.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
He did have that, and he also had another one that I Can.
I
It's
know
like
I can
I
be
know
what I
I
want to
can't be
be.
what I want to be.
If
Oh
I work
man,
hard on it. Yeah, I remember that track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
such
Shout out
a such a
106 in
that
Park,
is
man. 106 in Park.
that was that man, people, man. That is such an uplifting track, and that was such a good record. That's such an underrated record. It's hard. It's really hard to single out one from somebody as talented as Nas. It's really so hard to single out just one because he could hit it from anywhere. Like he could be conscious. He could be conscious. He could be hard. He could take you to the club. I mean, he's just so underrated and well rounded as a rapper. You wouldn't think somebody like Nas would be as well rounded as he is, but he's just got so many songs, and he just did it so many ways, and it just. A rapper like him, we got to give him his flowers while he's still around and he's still talented and he can still out rap any and everybody on the planet. So we definitely need to give him his flowers while he's here. It's just hard. It's hard to single out one of his. I guess if I
Oh,
had to pick one, it would probably be I ain't gonna lie. If I had to pick one, my favorite Nas track is probably "If I Ruled the World." If I pick one,
Hate Me Now. But there was another good track he did on from the Like Mike movie, The Rule, featuring A. Marie. I love that track.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But Nas, man, he's so versatile, man. But Hate Me Now, man, that's the type of song that anytime you going through something, hey, bleep you, I'm gonna listen to this track. And especially that's the type of music that a lot of athletes, and Chip, you are a former fighter yourself. Wasn't that one of those songs that you listened to?
Yeah, and also, man, people forget when him and 50 Cent had beef. There was another song I used to listen to called "Don't Body Yourself."
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never forget he said they say Jada defeated him. Joe Two Streets from what's next? I guess it's for Nas to eat through. I'll never forget when he said that. That was on like, oh man. And it got a back started. He back outside. But that
and
is that Nas is like motivational. It's crazy. Like I said, hate me now. To your point, hate me now. The minute that it's something about when it's certain songs.
Don't hate me with ice on my chains.
Yeah. It's certain tracks. It just clicks right there.
One of the greatest. I got to throw this out. 2 quick points, real quick. One of the greatest WWE promo videos ever constructed was before the WrestleMania 27 main event with John Cena and The Miz. And they used Hate Me Now for The Miz. It's one of the greatest promos in the history of the WWE because it pretty much talked about Miz's rise from being like this guy nobody thought was going to be anything to being WWE champion and main event and WrestleMania. And he used Hate Me Now. And it's one of the greatest video packages I've ever seen. I mean, it basically talked about Miz, where he was to what he was then, and it was just so well done. And my three favorite, my three favorite diss tracks of all time are Hail Mary 2003, Jeezy doing Stay Strapped on Gucci,
Ooh.
and Nas doing Ether. The first time I heard Ether, and then I heard Takeover, and Takeover was good. People need to understand Takeover was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard Ether. I put the phone down. The first time I heard Ether, I had to walk away because I've never heard a rapper get destroyed like that in my life. I mean, and this is Jay-Z we talking about, and Nas ate him for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. I think he saved lunch for the next day. That's how much he ate him. Like just like and the beat just like that this song was so good the beat is still popular to this day. That's how good the diss track was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But when he mentioned Jay-Z's lips though, BRF,
My gosh.
that's crazy.
So many worthy lines from that song. We can't say them. We're going to instruct you to go find the song and listen to it because boy,
Yes.
that was classic.
And next week, guys, on the Sports PSP pod, favorite Lil Kim track.
Hmm.
That's gonna be good. I thought about Jadakiss, but I'm gonna move Jadakiss for another time.
You sure we can say some of her songs on the air though?
Yes. If we could talk about Jim Cornette, we damn sure could talk about Lil Kim. She's the female colorful version.
Good point. Fair enough.
But anyway, folks, that concludes the rest of the Sports PSP podcast. BRF, Undisputed World Champ. Tell them where to follow y'all at and any final words.
You want to kick it off, Champ?
Yeah, let me set the tone. Always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be on the Sports PSP podcast. It's about to be Christmas time, and I would be remiss if I didn't say this. Every grudge, every bad word, and every bad thought, not to mention any bad actions that you contemplate making or that you have done already, needs to be cast aside. This is the holiday season, and we're heading into the new year. This is the perfect time to start again with your family, with your friends, and with your people. So this is the perfect time. And I'm not the one to preach, but this is the perfect time. Let's cast all that bad stuff out and let good things in to the holiday season, and let's let it leak over into the new year. Always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be on the stage with both of you guys weekly, every single week. And look, I just appreciate the time, appreciate the opportunity, and I'm just grateful to be here every time I get a chance, man.
Appreciate you, champ. BRF.
Well, y'all know the drill. You know, BRS Sports is the TikTok handle. The link tree is in the bio. But yeah, man, just piggybacking off of what Champ said though, man. This is definitely the time of year where you kind of sit back and you look at things and you reminisce and you appreciate what's been handed to you and what you're fortunate to have. Because everybody's not fortunate around this time of the year. Because Christmas is definitely a time to bring everyone together, but everybody's not that fortunate. So you really have to count your blessings. because everybody's not fortunate and everybody's not lucky to have their families at this time. So if you are fortunate and you are lucky enough to be able to celebrate this with your family, you have to you don't take stuff like that for granted, because life ain't promised. Tomorrow is not promised. And you have to really you have to take in all the good, and you have to appreciate all the good that you're getting out of life while you can, because tomorrow ain't promised. So hug your loved ones, tell them you love them, show them how much you appreciate them, give them your flowers. Do it while they here, not when they in the casket. Give them the flower while they on this earth and they breathing and they can see you when they talk and they can speak to you, because you never know when that could be taken away. That life's bestowed on you. If you're fortunate enough, just appreciate what you got, because you never know when it's gone. So definitely appreciate it, and just being able to share this stage with y'all too every week. I mean, this is like extended family. This is like extended brotherhood right here. So it's definitely an honor to share the stage with y'all, and y'all extended family to me. Y'all like brothers. So I mean, I'm just fortunate to be able to share a stage with y'all, and just growing in this, and just having so much fun doing this. I can't say enough about both of y'all, and for what y'all doing for me, and being able to get my face out there. I can't say enough for both of y'all. Like I said, she like champ is to me what PSP, you are the champ is to me as far as getting me out there and putting me out there. And I can't thank him enough, and I can't show enough appreciation for what he's done for me. So I'm gonna end it, but I'm gonna end it like this, because we're gonna keep rolling and we're gonna keep it popping, because a topic not thought about is a topic not talked about, and we're gonna keep this thing rolling. But I love y'all, brothers, and everybody out there that can hear me. Enjoy this holiday. Just appreciate why you got it, because you never know when it's gone. So never take nothing for granted. And a quick shout out, next Friday, you might you you might get the sneaky daughter cameo, because she's coming down next week. So you might mess around and get the sneaky daughter cameo like before in the summer. So I'm just letting y'all know she's coming down next week. We're getting her this coming Monday. So she might sneak up on me and give you the cameo next week. So I'm just letting y'all know.
That's what's up. That's all good. Family ain't nothing better than family, man. Please go like and subscribe to Undisputed World Champ. I know he got that podcast tomorrow night, 9 p.m. He's going to do some big things. I definitely know for a fact they're going to talk about college football, all things around the NFL, and everything going on. Please go follow them and subscribe to them on IG, TikTok, any social media that they're on. And y'all know me, where to follow me at, guys. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as IG Sports PSP, as well as TikTok Sports PSP3. Sports PSP podcast has now reached a new milestone, over 40,000 subscribers, 41 and a half to be exact. We're going to aim for 50, and we're going to try to continue doing what we're doing. And hope everyone enjoys the happy holidays. Enjoy have a good new year. Start off with some resolutions. Start off with some good things. Be around family. Be around friends. Don't take life for granted. Don't take life for granted. So, fellas, everyone, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Hope everyone enjoys a fantastic weekend. And peace.